You're watching the 420 Pace Network, found at 420radio.ca and paceradio.net. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this toke. Are you looking for non-stop, continuous cannabis and psychedelic programming? If you are, then turn your browsers to 420radio.ca or paceradio.net, where you will find the 420 Pace re-rolled Saturday. Everything gets started at 8 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning. Hey, my name is Al Graham, and you're with People Advocating Cannabis Education. PACE is about promoting the benefits of cannabis, which we do through educational documentaries or through public events. Today we're at the Carp Diem Cafe in Peterborough, and I'd like to introduce to you Russell Barth and Christina Lowe, the cannabis advocates from Ottawa, and they'll talk to us about what they're doing to help legalize cannabis around the world. Hello, Russell and Christine. How are you?
We're doing good.
Well, thanks.
Hi, everybody.
What I usually like to do when I get started on these interviews is ask you a question as far as, what do you do as far as hobbies or any education that you may have, just to give a bit of an idea so people know a little bit about you.
Well, I didn't quite finish high school, and then at the age of 25, I guess it was, 24, I started attending fine arts college in St. Lawrence College in Kingston, and didn't quite get to finish that because I ended up in the hospital in my third semester. And then I moved to Ottawa on Halloween of 1994. So it wasn't until 2002 that I started getting into any kind of activism, when I was mostly at Christine's urging. So.
Right.
And,
So, Christine, you got any education or anything, hobbies you can tell us about?
let's see, I've got a little bit. I went to Algonquin College and I graduated with a diploma in graphic arts. Let's see, I also, as far as employment has gone, besides working the typical retail, I worked a little while as a darkroom technician. I've also worked at a newspaper. Let's see, what else have I done? My gosh.
Barista.
Yeah, a barista. My last job was working at Second Cup.
No, your last job was working at a store.
Oh, yes, that's right. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah. And, but...
Yeah. Hang on for a second.
Yeah. Now, the two of you are both medical users of cannabis. A little bit that you like to tell us a bit about why you use cannabis and how you consume it?
Well, and PTSD, and how we consume is about 9 grams a day each. We eat, melted into olive oil. We just simmer it for a long time in the olive oil, strain it through cheesecloth, and then that's how we take in most of it. And then throughout the day we have various, sort of every 3 hours we have sessions with the volcano, where we inhale it, and we also use the bong, dry bong, to smoke it too.
At the beginning there, when you first started talking, Russell, I missed basically why you both use cannabis.
Oh, fibromyalgia and PTSD.
Yep.
Epilepsy and PTSD.
Okay, great. We caught that one. Was it hard for the two of you to become licensed under the MMAR program?
Well, it was hard at first for me because I needed a chronic pain specialist to sign specifically. This is back in 2003, back in the days when a specialist had to be the one to sign, not just the GP.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in Christine's case, it took from right into early 2003, but she was doing so well on cannabis that her doctor finally relented, and her neurologist relented and signed. So she got it before I did, shortly before I did, and then I had a chronic pain specialist who signed for me.
Right.
Then he lost his license. Then I had to go a year with no license, and then I had another person sign, and then my GP's been signing ever since. We've been really lucky overall.
Yeah.
Compared to other people, we've been super lucky. Yeah.
And Christine, with your epilepsy, some of the benefits that you have found?
Well, as far as that goes, I'm able to stay conscious through the day. I'm not high and loaded on anticonvulsants, and not being able to be psychologically, emotionally available because of those pharmaceuticals. So cannabis allows me to take care of the majority of my symptoms that I have with epilepsy. I still don't exactly have quite the amount of seizure control as I would like, but it's certainly much better than what it would be on pharmaceuticals. As well as that, it tends to take care of a lot of other symptoms that I have and other disorders that I'm also managing as well. So I'm able to do this with just simply one medication, one substance, rather than being on a whole myriad of drugs and pills and stuff like this. So
she's in quite a bit of pain too because of a lifetime of these convulsive seizures.
Correct.
Still having, one or two a month.
Yeah.
So,
and what was she? How many convulsions or seizures were you going through before cannabis, Christine?
Well, it's I can answer that better. I remember the numbers really well.
You do the numbers.
Okay.
For the first half of 2002, she had about 60 seizures of different shapes and kinds. In May of 2002, she decided to quit all of her pharmaceuticals and use cannabis, and then she only had 13 more that year.
Wow.
So in 2003, I think she had 13. In 2004, she had 9. In 2005, I think she had 5. She got down to 3 seizures a year. And then in March of 2008, she had a triple seizure. I called the ambulance. They shot her full of Ativan, took her to ER. They gave her a low dose of Dilantin, and she's been having 2 ever since. So we don't know what happened or what caused that sudden gigantic episode.
Right.
And it was horrendous. It was terribly traumatic for both of us. I thought she was going to die. Like it was a full-on hospital drama with people shouting stuff at each other, tearing things open, and tubes and wires and all this crap, and it was really scary. And she hasn't been the same since. So I've been taking care of her.
But I've been plagued with seizures ever since I was a child. As far as I can remember, I've always been having them.
Yeah.
When I was younger and I was having the seizures, a lot of people told me, well, you're just having fainting spells. We don't know exactly what's going on, this type of thing. So eventually, finally, when I was about 21 years old, I was able to see a neurologist in Kingston, and I was actually diagnosed at that point with epilepsy, and it's just been managing it since with.
And it's a rare form too.
So, yeah.
The thing they don't talk about in the brochures with epilepsy is that about 1/3 of people with epilepsy don't respond to the medications that.
No.
So their life becomes a drugged out mess of just living in homes or staying in one room with a helmet on, kind of stuff.
Correct.
So, this is the thing is, even though she's still having 2-3 seizures a month, she's having better overall quality of life with this than she would be with anything else.
Exactly, and that's a big point. Improve quality of life. No.
Hey,
Yes.
if she was one of these people who could just take 2 tablets a day, have some side effects that weren't that great, and no seizures, like some epileptics, well, that would be the wisest thing to do. And if cannabis works better than that, well, then use cannabis. But if it doesn't work better than that, then use that. But in her case, she's tried all the medications. All they do is bring a lot of side effects. I mean, the whole list practically. Yeah. And they bring more seizures, not fewer. And the quality of life falls apart. There's no sex drive. She puts on a bunch of weight. Her gums recede because they puff up and then they pull back, and then the teeth are more exposed. And it's very bad. And there's all kinds of other side effects. So overall, this just
much healthier.
Your way to go. That's all
healthier
there
way
is
to do it. I've
Yeah.
been
And
commented to me, about if you
yeah,
start to cough, people say, "Oh, how's that medicine if you start to cough?" Well, if coughing is a small side effect of cannabis, I'd much rather have that than the ones that you just described and what Christine goes through with
and
her medications. So
if anybody
Yes.
ever wags their finger
Yes.
at me about having a cough, I'll get up in their face about it because I've had a sinus problem since I was 16 years old.
yeah,
I was in a wheelchair for 5.5 years, got out. My neck is killing me today, all kinds of stuff. If a genie came out of a bottle or whatever and said, I can do one thing for you, what do you want me to do? I'll say, fix this goddamn nose. The sinus problems I've had since I was 16 are the number one biggest cause of grief in my life.
wow, eh?
So that's where my coughing comes
Yeah,
from.
she
I'm
coughs.
constantly just trickling snot, and it drives me
Right.
insane. So that's why I'm always coughing and clearing my throat and working up phlegm. Is not from, and if anything, cannabis has helped a lot of this. My sinuses are actually much better with all my cannabis use than they were. I
Yes,
live in the
exactly.
Ottawa Valley too. I
It's
mean,
the
you're in Peterborough,
decongestion.
man. You're up there in Peterborough. We're down here in a valley. It's like just living in a bowl of potpourri.
We're in a dust bowl.
It's like somebody just walk up and blow a handful of dust in your face.
Right,
It's
right. Everything
it's really
collects in
bad
there.
for if you're a sinus sufferer. You do not want to move to Ottawa.
No, it's not a good
Every
place.
season is bad. It's for different reasons.
Winter is bad.
Every
Bad.
season's got its own different kind of bad. So that's the thing. My cough is all coming from my phlegm and from my my snot problem. So pot actually helps it.
Helps it. Yeah, I find it works as a decongestion, especially through the winter time.
Expectorant too.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. We got to hear how the cannabis helps Christine with her epilepsy. You yourself, Russell, you got a bit of a story about you were spent some time in a wheelchair.
Yeah. In 2001, I had a back spasm, not unusual back spasm, but another one of my big thoracic back spasms. And it was sending just terrible pain down my legs and everything. And finally, I twisted so bad I couldn't walk properly. And then I got home, was in bed for several days, and, just getting back and forth to the bathroom was just an excruciating nightmare. So, stupidly, I didn't go to a chiropractor and stuff, but because I didn't know one at the time. And I atrophied very quickly, and this was in November, so by February, I was just shriveled right up. I couldn't barely walk 150 feet. So
From 165
that was later.
to 120.
Yeah. So then, we got a push wheelchair, for me.
Right.
Christine's parents got us that. She pushed me around in a wheelchair. It was like one of these hospital chairs. And we were going through the snow and on sidewalks and all kinds of stuff. It was really, really hard on her, man. Because she's tall, right? She's 5'10". So she had to lean down to push the chair around. It wasn't like she could just walk all nice and just push it.
Right.
So that was a drag. Then a mechanical wheelchair, and I was in with that until March of 2007. And the thing that got me out was mostly my diet. But back in, I guess, 2005 or so, I was at this special clinic place getting the full assessment. It was like a 6-week in program. They were going to sort of rehab me and all this kind of stuff. After the assessment, they went, well, there's nothing we can teach you. You're already doing better. You're eating better and doing better than the people in our program. You're sort of the result of our program rather than what is normally the intake. So we can't really help you. But in the process, I had told them that it was my speculation that if I had a big pile of weed, that I could, do as much as I could to get past the pain, and then I could exercise a little, strengthen me up, and then I could have some more weed and just gradually, sort of snowball the thing positively and gradually get my strength back.
Yeah.
And they gave me one of these sort of polite, well, yeah, that's an interesting idea, kind of looks. And then they pulled Christine aside and they said, no, he's being unrealistic. This is his life now in the chair.
Get him used
to that because psychologically he needs to get used to that.
So they get tell you you're in the chair for good.
Pretty much, yeah. No, I mean, I wasn't bum stuck to the chair. I could get up and walk around. I could get from the car to the house and back and forth. If I was going to go to somebody's place for dinner, I wouldn't bring the chair, right? I'd walk out to the car and walk from the car into their place and sit and have dinner, but it was always a cane and a hassle, and I moved slow. It's kind of like having, granddad around, right? And if I had to walk like a block, forget it. I'm not even going. Don't even ask. So that was my life then. But in 2007, we lived in a place that was right across the street from a mall. And I got a Category 2 walker, and I just started to struggle. You know, I'd hit the bowl a bunch of times, go, okay, that's my ration for now, so suit up and to the mall, you know. And I knew that it hurt. It was hurting like hell. I mean, it still hurts to walk now. Everything hurts all the time. But I knew that if I pushed through, the muscles might recover.
Right.
Right? If they didn't, they didn't. But if they did, cool, I could start walking properly again. So by May, I was walking without a – no, sorry, by June, I was walking without a cane.
Good.
Just walking normal. I mean, the first while I was wobbly as hell, too. I mean, it was like watching.
And then,
but
and then you made your way out of the wheelchair eventually, to the surprise of the doctors.
Well, yeah, they were really all thrilled, you know. It helped having a chiropractor right next door, too. My doctor's office was right on the same parking lot as my building, and then the mall was just across the road. So, you know, I was seeing a chiropractor, and then I could just go home and relax. I didn't have to take a long bus home.
Yeah.
When the doctor also saw you,
Yep.
and she ended up crying.
And this was during a period of time, too, that Christine wasn't having very many seizures. So I could leave her alone at home to work on paintings or whatever. She could go to the mall by herself, get groceries and stuff by herself. There was a big period where she was doing stuff by herself. And before we got together, she was just living on her own and trying to keep a job and trying to keep an apartment, but she was having 2-3 seizures a month anyway.
Right.
Falling down and hurting herself, wrecking stuff in her apartment, getting robbed, all kinds of stuff. Breaking her nose, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a good story to hear you're able to get out of that wheelchair and be able to use your legs and move around. So it's.
And I walk fast.
That's
too.
good.
It's not like I walk briskly.
Faster than me.
I walk briskly and I can go like 4 clicks in one.
Nice. Okay, now you're also involved in activism, trying to get the word out there to people about cannabis. One of the ways that I understand that the two of you have done the video of Christine and her epileptic seizure. Why did you guys do that, and what's been the reaction to it?
Wow.
This is an interesting story. In January of 2003, we had a video camera, an old 8mm video camera, sitting on a tripod. So all I had to do, I had a battery, and all I had to do was flip up the standby, and it would turn on, push the button, and record it, right? So my friend was over, and she had a seizure, so I said, here, hold this, don't zoom in, just bring the camera in close, because the autofocus is screwed. It's a really old camera. He goes, okay, well, what do I do? I said, just point it at me, and then let me talk. Now, she'd been bugging me for, a long time, but she hadn't had a seizure in a while.
Right.
She says, or actually, you hadn't had one in a while, but she's like, I want to see one. I've never seen what they're like. Because I was telling you, they're just terrific. You grind your teeth, and you're foaming at the mouth, and you're thrashing. It's insane. She's like, I know, I fall, I faint. No, you don't faint. You have those too, but this is different. So we got the footage. She saw the footage. I didn't show it to her for like 3 days. She's like, okay, I'm ready. She watched it, and she was like crying, pawing at the screen, like trying to help whoever this person was stumbling around in our apartment in this video, right?
It felt like a person that I'm missing a part of. I feel like this is a sliver of my self-conscious that is just not available to me. And to be able to see myself, see my body animated and moving without my consciousness in it is just horrific.
It was spooky for anybody.
It's seeing something absolutely voodoo on television.
And this is where
incredible.
Where she referred to it as, she looks like a meat puppet, right?
Wow.
So that was in 2003. So we got the video, and that was intense, and
Man.
So fast forward to January of 2007. A friend of mine says you should check out this thing called YouTube. I said, what's YouTube? And he's YOUTUB. He says, you go there, you just type in whatever, and they've got music videos. It's just this video page, man. Just go look at it. Just go see it. I can't even explain it. It's too awesome. So I go to YouTube. I thought, this is cool, the doors, live doors. Cool. I'm looking up all this fun stuff that I want to see. She says, put in epilepsy. Put in epilepsy. bunch of kids faking seizures, bunch of stuff that says, caution, don't watch this if you have epilepsy, because there's just got a flicker to it, Yeah. Kids faking them, people. And then there was a couple of people actually having seizures.
But it was hospital.
But it was like hospital footage.
Like hospital camera footage from
up in the corner
above.
So all you see is a person just going like this in a bed and a bunch of brainwave chart, running down the side.
Yeah.
So she said, our is way better than that. Mix it up, put it up. I'm like, I don't even know how to mix video. What do I do now? So they called an activist friend at the time. He brought his stuff over. We had to mix the 8-minute video into digital, and it was just a big problem. Added a bunch of text to it about medical marijuana, and we put it up. Right away, the thing starts getting like 1,000 hits a day, right? I email it to the Ottawa Sun. It wasn't like I'm talking like 10, 12 minutes later, he calls me. He's like, are you crazy? There's a report I met before. He goes, dude, are you crazy? You putting your wife's on your wife on the internet like this? This is nuts.
Broke my tooth.
She even breaks a tooth video. It's intense, right?
I break a quarter off of my molar.
So he calls up Epilepsy Ontario. He's like, what do you think of this video? And the woman's like, well, I don't know. I really like the idea of that, meat puppet and all this marijuana talk. I don't really know if that's a good idea. So right away there's controversy with this thing, right? Right out of the starting gate. And it kept getting 1,000 hits a day. And it went on and on like that for a long time. But people kept saying, the main comment we got was, hey, the text is going by too fast. It's kind of cluttered. Can't really see it. So right away we put up the second one. The second one has Christine talking at the beginning, and she mentions about the rude comments. We're leaving those comments there. We let everybody put up their rude comments, their horrible comments.
Yes.
We leave it there. We leave it there for the world to see the kind of shit that epileptics have to go through.
Ignorant those people are.
Because people pile on. Some troll puts, LOL, just shoot her or whatever, and then people just pile on this troll or whatever, they report him. So I just let it all happen. We just let this all happen on the page, man.
It's educating, and it's also exposing ignorance at the same time.
Yes. So then, we put the second one up. We put the second one up like a week later, or a few days later. No text, no nothing, and then it was about 3 years, I guess, and we had 1.5 million hits on the first one, and then it got pulled for the pot references. Somebody finally complained, and we were like, Christ, it lasted that long, And there was a nice article in the Ottawa Citizen about us. The nice picture of us there, at the monitor, and her having the seizure on the monitor. So it was pretty cool.
Then it was also on TV on the States.
Then we get a call. We get a call from the doctors. Let me go back a bit. So the video's up there, and right away I'm getting requests. Right? Can we use this in the school? Can I use this to on this presentation? So I had to change the text and say, yes, you can do anything you want with this, share and enjoy. And we got emails from a doctor who ran the hospital part of a prison, and they said they wanted to use that footage to teach, so that they could distinguish real seizures from fake ones in prison, so to help save people's lives and reduce the danger. He's trying to fake a seizure and injure a guard or whatever. It goes both ways. So there was that. I've had young people, like as young as 15, saying, I'm doing a presentation in school about epilepsy, and right up into professors teaching at university level saying, can we use this footage in our class? So after I changed the text on the page, the accompanying text of the video, there's nothing on the video, but you read the text with it. It says, this permission, do what you want, download it, share it, copy it, spread it around, so it could be getting used in all kinds of places. Then we got a call, an email, and a guy says, months ago, a friend of mine, his dog had a seizure in front of me. I said, what the hell's going on? He said, dog's having a seizure, right? He's got epilepsy. So I look it up. I saw your video. You're pretty instructive about how to take care of the seizure and everything. He says, well, the other day somebody comes into my place at work and has a seizure. Everyone else just freaks out. I don't know what to do. I might have saved the guy's life. So that happens. You get an email like that. I mean, some mornings you get up, you're so depressed and angry, and you hate and then you get an email like that. Wow.
And for an epileptic to have epilepsy to be going through so many different kinds of seizures, so many levels of violence of seizures, and to be able to help educate and to be able to have such goodness and such come from something that's just absolutely horrific.
We've been told that this video has saved lives.
Wonderful.
And I mean, if they're using it in schools, I'm yet to find a piece of footage anywhere that matches it. You know, one day somebody's going to have a camera really good and close, because everyone's got cameras now, right? I mean, everybody has cameras now.
Yeah.
So one day someone's going to put up a piece of footage that is going to, ours will pale by comparison.
Someday.
But I haven't seen it yet.
Not yet.
Because we get right, I mean, for those who haven't seen the video, we get right in close. She's all purple. There's veins bulging out of her neck, and she breaks a tooth.
Yeah, you can see the sphincter muscles around.
You can see her eyes twitching like this. Wow. It's just amazing, you know.
It's probably something that would,
very intense.
It's like you say, Christine. It's you're watching that experience of somebody, and you know you want to help them, and it's brought probably quite a few tears to people to watch. You go through that on the video.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got about 10 minutes left, so I want to touch on a couple things. The next thing is the two of you, as far as helping bring awareness, have worked on a children's book called Mummy's Funny Medicine. Can you tell us the story about that, what it got it started, and what's involved, its availability?
Well, in late 2002, I started using medical marijuana, about 6 months in. We were talking to somebody on the street. I was on Bank Street. It was miserable weather. I started commiserating with another person in a wheelchair. So we got talking about, you know, why he was in the chair, why I was in the chair. And she said she was using a lot of codeine. I said, oh, well, you should try medical marijuana. She's like, oh, no, I couldn't use that. It's as bad as heroin. And it's, I mean, you're gobbling up codeine, and you're telling me pot's as bad as heroin? It's not. I mean, like, read the science. So she goes, oh, no. I said, you ever try quitting codeine? And I saw this, you know, look on her face, and I knew, because I've kicked codeine 3 times myself.
I saw this demon fly
in between us.
In between both of those two people.
It was just like, it was, you know, she knew I was to her. Like when she runs out, this codeine withdrawal is a nightmare. It's not as bad as what I've seen heroin. I mean, you don't go into convulsions and shock, but God, it's a nightmare. So as we pulled away, she's like, what would I tell my grandson? I said, tell him the truth. Tell him your purple medicine you get when you have a cold is for you, and this is Granny's medicine. I mean, it's pretty simple, duh. So she goes off in her chair, you know. So we go off, and one of us said to the other, we don't even remember which one, somebody should write a children's book. And we didn't think anything of it. So then it was Christmas Eve or a couple of days before Christmas or something. My parents were down in Florida, and we were already talking about becoming public activists and doing something with the news and talking with them about a compassion club. So I said, how are we even going to, you know, so we have a conversation on the phone with my parents. Hey, Christmas, yeah, okay, well, have a good time, talk to you, bye. And then I said, how am I even going to broach this topic that I'm using medical marijuana? They don't know. How do I even bring it up? It's like they're so stupid, I have to use a children's book or something. See Russell in his chair, see Russell feeling better. And then we looked at each other like, you know, we knew right away, oh my God, what a crazy big idea. I was, oh, geez. So we got a piece of paper and we just started jotting this down right away. And
doodling.
And that's how we came up with the idea in like quick stages. I said we should do it from a kid point of view. Kid looking at the parent who's sick. So in the book, Heather, the girl, is basically Christine's point of view, and Mommy is me. I'm the, you know, Mommy's carrying my sort of symptom.
People might have thought it was the other way around. Like, Christine was the...
Right, exactly. But so the thing is, yeah, so in the book, I'm basically Mommy. Right? We just switched it around because it was easier than Daddy's man. You know, we kicked it around. So we literally hammered the sketch, the text as it went in the book. It must have come out in about a half an hour. Because what is it? I mean, it's like 1,000 words, not even. You know, it was very quick to write it out. So we had some quick sketches, and we're like, oh, this is so great. This is so great. So we told Mike Foster. I mean, he's only a few pages in. His eyes are all wet. He's like, we got to do this book. You got to do this book. He is the owner of Crosstown Traffic, which is the flagship head shop in Ottawa.
Yep.
There's lots of other head shops. There's some that are physically larger, but
The original.
he was really the first one. It's just the most awesome place.
Primo quality.
And he's also been a
Right.
big activist for like 25 years in Ottawa. He's not just some guy who owns a head shop. He's
Involved
an
in the
activist.
community.
And like, you know,
Yes.
I should actually have my hat off talking about it, quite frankly.
Yeah.
You know, no, seriously, he's Canadian activism royalty when it comes to marijuana.
Okay, continue the story.
So he said, you got to do this. So we're okay, we're on it. But I mean, how do we publish this? He goes, I'll think of something. I know publishers and printers. You leave that to me. You get it done. So she starts doing drawings, right? And I'm getting, every time she goes, come here, look at this. What do you think? You know, she pencils something up and I'm like, oh my God. And I start crying. It looks so great. So she gave me all these line works. I scanned them all, touched them all up, get rid of all the weird little dots and whatnot. And then I colorized them all and put it all together with the text. And that took, it took her about a month to draw it, I think it was, and about a month to colorize it, something like that. Mm-hmm. And we managed to get it published. When we showed Mike the galleys, we had it all, just as big images. He said, okay, they've got to be set properly. But he says, I think I'm just going to do it myself. So I said, oh, wow, okay, cool. So he just talked to a printer and got got a price and everything, and he had 2,000 copies made. So we said, that's awesome. We'll do it for charity. We don't want any money for it. So, and
it's the book itself. When you hold it, it's an educational medium in a very non-threatening form. Having information such as that available in that book, but in a format that is just very simple and very non-threatening. It's easy for anybody of any age to leave that on a coffee table. For example, if I was going to be starting using cannabis, if I was trying to approach this topic maybe with my parents, if I feel that I couldn't actually talk to them about it, I'd maybe, get a copy of this book and leave it out on the coffee table underneath Dad's Sunday newspaper.
People have told us,
this type of thing.
Older people have told us, our young adult children were totally against us using marijuana. Then they saw your book. It totally bridged the gap, and it started
to help change their mind.
Started healing. Yeah, people in their 20s are saying, my adult parents, my older parents, obviously, they couldn't cope with this. They saw the book. There's peace in the family again. They've shown it to little kids and stuff. So we've got a lot of positive feedback about the book. And there's a read-through video on YouTube where, we have some nice Palatini music in the back. Christine just reads all the text.
People can just search out Mummy's Funny Medicine on YouTube, and they'll be able to get the video of it. Right. Okay. I'm just watching my time here. There's lots of stuff that I had hoped. Oh, I'm told don't worry about it. Maybe Marina, the owner here at the cafe, she doesn't know that you and I, Russell, we have spoken for 4.5 hours before, so
I
won't go that.
I've got time. We've got time.
I'm in Ottawa. It's not like I got anything else to do.
Yeah.
Later.
Well, later.
Another thing that you have achieved through your activism is you have become North America's 4th leading letter-to-editor writer. You want to tell us a bit about that?
Sure, yeah. Well, in 2002, I started writing some letters to the editor. Got, 1 or 2 published. And it was one of those things that if I sent and didn't get published, I'd be, all right. So I wouldn't send one for a long time. But then in around October 2003, I started getting more published. And again, this is before we knew about Facebook, and there wasn't Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. So I had a lot more time on my hands. And I just started pounding them out. Every time I would go and look on the forums, I found a letter, I find an article or somebody else's letter, I'd reply to it. Just pounding them out, right?
You had a list of websites.
I had a list of websites ago, that was my main focus. So from October 2003 until, so for about 8 years, I did that. And I got about an average of 100 a year.
And that 100 a year took you how many letters to write? Thousands.
Thousands. Maybe 20,000.
Wow.
I don't even know. See, it's funny because what happens is sometimes I see an article in the Vancouver Sun,
Yeah.
right? And it'll be about an issue, medical marijuana, right? But that article is also going to show up in a bunch of other associated newspapers, right? In CanWest. So you got to go hunt for those. You got to find those email addresses and send it to those editors too. And then they put them on. And sometimes you only get it online. Sometimes you get it in the paper. And then other times, like for example, I wrote a letter about hemp. It was quite long too. And I sent it to pretty much, I don't know, maybe 300 or 400 newspapers in Canada. I don't even remember how many. I just sent it to every newspaper I could find in every province, even up in the Yukon and Northwest Territories and everything. And I think I got it in over a course of 3 months. It showed up in 23 or 26 different newspapers.
One letter that they...
So the one letter that I sent off to 300 or 400 different places got printed, that many times. Now the thing about a letter that big, there's a lot of times it would get into a small town newspaper.
They like to restrict the size of letters, right?
Well, sometimes they do, and sometimes they look at it and they go, let's just run this as an article, because it saves them having to put a lot of filler in, or they have to write something, right? So if they get something that's intelligent and informed and coherent, and they can just put the editor at the bottom, they don't have to be responsible for the accuracy of the content.
Yeah.
So it's verging on. So they started verging on op-eds. In fact, a couple of times I'd send out something off to the Ottawa Citizen, and there was a really nice letters editor there, and he would call me and say, "All right, look, you need to change this and that." So he would work with me to get it right for his paper, And then he had me in to have a serious photo like this taken, of me, the writer, of a letter and stuff. I have to break the law to heal myself and all this. So this kind of stuff happened. And then there was a lot of times I would write one letter and just send it to every newspaper, and it would show up in 3 or 4 places at once, over one weekend, over 1 week. I had one letter in 4 newspapers in one day. That was pretty awesome. I think it was the one about Pierre Burton.
So your advice to somebody who is writing letters is, even if your letter doesn't show up, keep pounding them out, because eventually they will get.
And the thing is, too, the editors read them, right? The editors are looking at these letters, and if they start getting more a consensus of people who are sending in a lot of intelligent, concise letters, especially if you correct them and say, well, actually, your article about this, correct them. And people are like, oh, I don't have time for that. Yeah, well, you got time to sit on the bus and play some game on your phone or whatever. You got to play a video game. Take an hour to write some letters.
Exactly. You're part of the problem by sitting there and playing video games versus going out and trying to help change things.
Yeah. So there's other guys who have done a lot more.
Yeah.
Robert Sharp is most. Kirk Muse is the other one, and Stan White. Those are the 3 guys ahead of me. Now Robert Sharp, he does a lot of it in the States. I hardly ever wrote to any place in the States. If I had taken the time to just write to places in the States, I could probably, my numbers would be up like this.
Yeah, they probably would, and it's quite the accomplishment just to become fourth. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's fourth in the world.
Trading basically in Canada. Yeah. In
Canada, yeah, and the thing is too, I don't know for sure, but I don't think anybody else in Canada has ever written 800 letters published in Canada. Period. So I might just be the most published letter to the editor writer
Canadian history. And just so people know, this isn't just this is all letters, not just cannabis letters. You're the fourth published editor writer on all subjects. Now,
I don't know about that. know about that, but I mean, if you go through the history of Canada, is there anybody who's had more than 800 letters published
Yeah, really.
in their life?
I don't know.
So letters to the editor, I mean. Letters to the, I don't know. So I can't really say, oh, I'm the biggest real letter writer in Canadian history, but it's starting to look like I am.
I've been writing for years.
Unless
I
Stan
got maybe
White,
20 in.
because I know Stan White, Kirk Muse. Yeah, well, those guys are all American.
Yeah.
Robert Sharp, Kirk Muse, and Stan White are all
Okay,
American. So I think
the next thing I want to touch on, all right, is a news conference that you held. Not many people get an opportunity to hold a news conference to pose an opposite of their prime minister of their country. So would you like to fill us in on this story and how you're able to accomplish that?
Okay, well, how we accomplished that was with the help of Tim Meehan.
Yeah.
And he knew a little bit more about getting onto the getting a press conference at Parliament Hill is actually pretty easy. You call up the press gallery. There's a phone number. You can find them online. And you say, I want to hold a press conference in the Charles Lynch room. And they'll say, okay, what's that about? And what date? And when do you want to do this? And this sort of thing. So we did this kind of stuff. And we learned a lot of stuff about that, but that's another story. And this story, what happened was, Stephen Harper was going to be giving a speech right over at the Chateau Laurier, which is quite literally next door. It's just over it's right next to the canal, and the canal is right there by Parliament Hill. They're right there at the Chateau Laurier at the Canadian Chief Police Association, right? All the Canadian chiefs of police are there. So he's having a big press conference. He's giving a speech at their big thing. So we said, all right, we're going to have a press conference right after the, whatever. He's scheduled to have his speech at a certain time. We'll have our press conference at the same time. So we show up. I was using my wheelchair at the time. Christine's there, me and Tim. I think that was about it. I don't think anybody else came with us. So maybe John Ipata was there.
I think it was
So we go there, and there's like nobody.
Oh.
Right? There's like almost no. I think there was one or two reporters. I don't remember, but there was hardly anybody. It was not a big press conference. So we stand up there, and Tim gives an introduction, and he's got ready, and I get up and I talk for like 11 minutes or something. She gets up and she talks for like 7 minutes, and there weren't too many questions because there's only one or two guys there, and then that was it. And we went, wow, that's a drag.
Yeah.
Oh, well. So we went home, and we found out afterwards, someone told us, oh, my God, you were on CPAC. And we said, what happened? And they said it was the craziest thing. Stephen Harper's there giving a speech live, right? They're feeding this live on CPAC. Stephen, we're going to give you the tools you need, and blah, 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 this and that, and wank, wank, wank. So everyone's like, yeah, it's great, okay. And it cuts to Van Dusen in the studio. He's going, okay, so that was Prime Minister Stephen Harper at the blah, 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 and this and that. And now here's some activists who disagree with their crime policy. We go live to the Charles Lynch room, and they cut to the middle of Tim's introduction. And then her and I get to talk uninterrupted for 17 minutes.
Nice.
And they didn't cut back to them. They just let us talk. They didn't okay, that's them. They're going to talk for days, so we're going to go to another thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times they do in the news, right? They just let us go. And we never saw the footage of this.
Probably.
It's probably in the archives there someplace, But when we were done, then they cut to Van Dusen. Okay, well, they gave this thing and gave a couple of highlights. He probably had the teleprompter ready for him, and then they went on to whatever else. I didn't have CPAC at the time, so I didn't know. But people called. They're like, "Oh my God, the whole thing!"
Yeah, I guess
so
you would
we were really happy about that. And then, of course, we had quotes. There were quotes by both of us. I think there were quotes by both of us in print media the next day too.
There was that as well.
There was that.
Well,
another time we showed up, another time we went to talk about driving, nobody came.
Yeah.
There was the cameraman and us. Not one reporter came, not one. And we were like, man, this is just the worst ever. But it was about driving. New driving laws they have with marijuana and driving, right? And drug driving. So we thought, oh, well, the next day, it was like the bottom half of the front page of the Vancouver Sun was this article the driving and long quotes from me and the whole press conference.
Oh,
and everything.
yeah. You
So
never know. So,
it's tricky living in Ottawa. It's such a trip living in this town, man. It's so weird. It's like living in a time warp.
Yeah. Marina here, the owner, she agrees. Okay, now I want to move on to the MMPR. Everybody knows that the MMAR is changing, and we're being forced to swallow this MMPR unless some action can make some changes. Can you tell us a bit about how this program is going to affect the two of you?
Well, we're screwed. That's all I can say. We're screwed.
Affordability, strain
selection,
it's all gone.
The affordability, quality, strain selection. Gone. We contacted Health Canada, right? Contacted Rona Ambrose. I got my MP to contact Rona Ambrose, right? And say, listen, we're not going to be able to afford this. What are we supposed to do? So they said, she replies, contact your health care provider, health insurance provider, right? Well, in our case, that's the province of Ontario. So I contact the province of Ontario, and they said, hey, medical marijuana is on the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act. We can't even talk about it.
Until it's a DIN.
Like, we can't, until it's a medicine with a DIN, we can't do anything about it. So it's like, you ask your dad, hey, can I do this thing? And he says, well, you better ask your mom. And you go ask your mom, well, what did your dad say?
Right. I know there was a couple of years ago when all these meetings were going on and they were meeting with people, the government told the Compassion Center operators and stuff that were involved in that it would require patients as well as the commercial distributors to lobby the insurance industry for coverage. Otherwise, we were on our own. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So we're
whatever happened about caring about the patients instead of caring about whether a multi-million-dollar company is making $1 billion a year in profit.
Exactly. And this Ontario government is already so mired in scandal. The last thing they need is, we're going to start just, giving people people on Ontario disability and welfare, we're going to pay for their medical marijuana. Now, forget the fact that it's safer, more effective, and cheaper than many of the drugs that are already covered under the
probably reduce healthcare costs.
Exactly. They would look at this and they go, wow, this is a no-brainer. But how do we tell the public this? With Tim Hudak, yap, 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 yap. With Sun News Network, yap, 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 yap. How do we get any of this across to the public, right? It's up to us. It's up to people like us to sit on the bus and talk loud. Pot cures cancer. And the government's taking away our medicine, we're going to die. So,
have a mission to every person out there who's advocating for cannabis to talk to at least one or two people daily, constantly, in order to.
Well, I mean, I usually wear a T-shirt that has something that's going to attract attention.
I do the same thing.
Usually it's my marijuana cures cancer T-shirt, which always gets people talking.
T-shirt on.
Yeah. Yeah. I think everybody should get one that says marijuana cures cancer. Now, some people wag a finger about that and they go, well, cure, you can't really say cure, but let's talk about the word cure for a minute, right? If you take a treatment for a medical condition and the medical condition goes away, then it's a cure. But if it doesn't go away, then it's a treatment that failed. Well, as a medical treatment, marijuana has cured people's cancer. In the past, doing so in the present, likely will in the future. But a good friend who we never got to meet in person, Michelle Rainey, she was taking a double dose of the stuff, cancer ate right up, man. So it's not magic. A lot of people are getting chemo or radiation. They're like, I'm doing great. I feel great. I'm doing great. All of a sudden they get some sinus infection. Boom, the guy's dead 3 days later. Or something like that. It can be that quick with cancer. So to say, marijuana cures cancer, well, water doesn't cure thirst, but it's a conversation starter. And that's why it says marijuana cures cancer, look it up. So they're going to go look it up online, or they can take their phone out and start looking.
Talking about
It's better than walking around with an Ottawa Senators T-shirt on or a Toronto Maple Leafs or some other
Talking
jerk-off
about Michelle
thing.
Rainey, I see you have a medicinal T-shirt on from Michelle. And as I look at the calendar, we are 5 days away from, I believe, the third anniversary of Michelle's passing. There will be the third annual Michelle Rainey Walk will be held in Toronto on the 20th. That is looked after by Erin Butterfly, and she organizes that every year. So, yeah.
Awesome. I wish we could try and organize one in Ottawa, but honestly, we struggle just to get our own errands and stuff done,
Okay.
our own sanity in order, you know. And this town is just
pitiful.
It's hard to get like even 5 people to do postering and this kind of stuff. It's different in Toronto. You get the Vapor Lounge. You got all these people who are congregating.
We run into the same problem here in Peterborough, and there's a fellow by the name of Blazing Wrinkles who's working very hard. He does the Peterborough 420 and Peterborough Cannabis Day, and he's working on some other secret projects right now that I can't elaborate on till another time. But if they come through to fruition, it's going to be a huge step here in this area, I'll tell you. Last question,
I'm guessing.
and this got to do with legalization of marijuana. And the stories that we're hearing in the news with Justin Trudeau and when he's talking about legalizing, and he talked about how he thought that the new MMPR program had to remove grows from people's houses. Is this a pipe dream of his? Or is this something that it could be a possibility? Because you and I, we both know we've heard this for 40 years. But does this seem a little bit different this time?
I think it's different this time because of, the cancer information, internet, doctors like Sanjay Gupta, the changes in the U.S., Israel, this kind of thing. I think we're off to a good start. The problems I foresee with the Liberals is that they see it as a contentious and difficult issue to get across to the public already. As you can see, it's sort of helping their popularity, but it's still kind of scrambling to get coherent, right? It's not and the thing is, people keep like, oh, Justin Trudeau saying this and Justin Trudeau saying that. It's not like he goes bursting out of the gate, well, I think this and that about marijuana. It's the press ask him a question and he politely responds in a fairly intelligent and almost fully informed way. Now, I agree with him about the MMPR. Taking away people's grows is ridiculous. It's the safest, cheapest, most effective way to get medicine to the people, for the people who want it. People like us, forget about it. The best way for us is through commercial grows, the big ones that produce and send it through provincial, bodies, deliver it to our door like they do with her hormone thyroid medication that she's got to take. Right?
And the whole bit.
That's all free. That's delivered to our door. So for some people, not everybody wants to grow. Not everybody needs to be growing. Some people have a dose load so big that they'd have to live in a 6-bedroom apartment to do it. You cannot. Some people can get by in 3 or 4. I know a guy who got by in 1 pinner a day for his Crohn's.
I know.
Yeah. He says, man, I said, you don't use very much. He says, I roll these little thin joints. He says, I smoke a half of one a night. I don't have Crohn's. He says, if I miss that joint, boy, do I have Crohn's. It's like I got broken glass inside me. Yeah. And I shit blood. But
when people talk about legalization, some people picture everybody growing 1,000 plants. Is this something that some people, whether you're government or recreational users or just anybody in society, should be worried about somebody growing 1,000 plants?
I don't think so. Because, if let's say the law fell apart tomorrow and, Peter Mansbridge and every other news, Kevin Newman and everybody like, well, that's it, man. Marijuana's legal. The law fell apart. It's like abortion. It's all up in the air. We don't know what to do, and everybody starts growing. Okay, great. Everyone's growing on their balconies. Everyone's going to grow in their backyards. Everyone's going to grow. But somebody's going to grow 1,000 plants one summer, and be, oh boy, and they're going to hang it all up in their shed, and it's going to cure real nice, and they're going to trim it all, and they're going to bag it all, and they're going to, okay, great, and they're going to bring it to the market And the market's going to say, yeah, $800 a pound. What? Are you crazy? It costs me that much to grow all this.
So basically, because everybody's got 1,000 plants, nobody's got any.
It's called a market glut. It's a lot of work to deal with 1,000 plants, man. Especially if it's all one harvest, right?
Yes.
If you're growing 10 rows of 100 plants, you're going to cut them all down and hang them in one weekend? You think you're going to trim all that in one weekend? Maybe with a big machine.
If everybody's growing 1,000 plants, where is it going to go anyways?
Exactly. Who's he going to sell it to if every grandmother and every teenager's already got their 5 or 10 or 20 plants in their backyard or their shed or their basement or whatever? So some guy's going to grow 1,000 plants. He's going to try and get it to the States. What's he going to do? Put it on a truck and just drive across the border?
No,
it's not that easy. Even the bikers are going to be turning it down, and the mafia are going to be turning it down because they're like, hey, we got plenty. There's a market glut. No one's buying it, and there's only so much you can push across the border before it starts.
That's right.
Everybody starts to buy. So, I'm not worried about stuff like that. The thing I'm worried about with everybody free for all is much like we have the problem, or much like the problems we have now, is that people are growing crap weed and they think it's great. You go into any head shop that's like a grow shop place, right? And you get talking to them, and people will bring little samples, like, oh yeah, look what I grew. And the guy's like, you don't know a damn thing, man. You don't know what you're doing. To get that book, this gear, this is how to do it properly. Because people are growing all this chemical-laden, raggedy-ass weed, and they're selling it to people on the street. They're selling it to teenagers. They're selling it to old people. They're selling it to sick people. No. And it's not cool. I just wish people would take the time to grow it clean. I don't even necessarily mean organic, but just
flush it out.
Clean.
Get rid of the
flush it really good.
Yeah.
Flush it really good. Use lots of neem oil so you don't have a lot of dead in there. use a lot of neem so you don't get fungus. Really control your environment so you don't get mold. This kind of stuff. But no, man, just fungicide that shit. Just pesticide that shit. Just pound it. Snap, crackle, and pop, baby. It's dog shit weed. It's skunky, chemical, stinking dog shit weed, and it really depresses me because it's like eating. It's just like eating, junk food. It's like McDonald's is organic beef.
McDonald's doesn't have any beef in it.
It's just. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's just a lot of chemical crap. It's just dreadful. So this is what bothers me more about the free-for-all. I like the idea of, like I said, the only control I would really see is in terms of smell and in terms of sort of electrical, water, and chemical runoff. Because if every other house in the suburbs starts growing anything, pot, food, whatever, in their basement, starts dumping this stuff down the drain, the water, there's going to be algae blooms or whatever growing in our water systems and our lakes and rivers when all the sewage, our sewage treatment plants have to deal with all this stuff. And in Ottawa, every time we get more than like 2 inches of rain, our sewage treatment plant completely overflows and raw, untreated human toilet flushings go downriver toward Laurel and Hawkesbury and all points east and south.
Okay.
That's not good at all. Every time we get a heavy in Ottawa, and it's been like this for years, and I don't think they fixed it yet. We're talking 700,000 liters at a time.
And then people swim in those rivers. And people the towns suck water out of those rivers.
Down to Carry-On, yeah, exactly. Carry-On Beach, yeah, they're pulling water out of there for their farms or whatever.
Gross.
It's just
disgusting.
It's disgusting.
To wrap things up, have either one of you have a final word that you would like to say?
Get out busy. We were just talking about this with Matt Myrna on his show before you called. Have conversations on the bus. Have conversations in the supermarket. Fake a phone conversation with your cell phone. You don't have anybody to call. Walk around the supermarket, blah, blah, blah. Pot cures cancer. You should have seen this woman on TV on the internet. Her breast was rotting right off. Her breast is all fine from the cannabis oil. Amazing thing, blah, blah, blah. Get out and get active and just get into conversations with people about marijuana because the fucking media is not going to do it for us.
Get involved and speak up. Christine?
Yes. Yep. Well, I'm pretty well much on the same page with Russell. It would be wonderful to see see more younger people get more active in their community as far as this goes, because just seeing young kids schlub around town wearing their pants halfway down their ass and
shoes all untied and whatnot.
Yeah, and shuffling their feet and using their little iPads and their little cell phones to check out porn sites.
Yeah,
Like, come
get
on,
busy.
get more active in your community.
Yeah.
Please.
I've worn myself out doing this.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
well,
My
at this
husband-
moment, I'd like to say thank you to Russell and Christine for taking time to educate everyone on what's it like to live as a patient and as a cannabis advocate. I'd also like to... You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
I'd also like to thank
having us.
Marina and her staff here at the Carp Diem Cafe in Peterborough. And everyone,
Thank you so
and
much.
everyone present today, for those on YouTube who will be participating for being people advocating cannabis education. Thank you. Thank you, Marina. Thank you, Russell and Christine. We'll be talking with you two very soon. Okay, bye-bye.
Sounds great.
Good
Take
night.
care. Good night.
Okay, who wants to do number 7?
You.
I just did. Alright, it's been a while since you did. Okay, on to number 7. And then I'll get up and I will get the barbecue.
That is smush.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
That is
Look at that.
it's completely flat.
It is flat. Oh, down.
You can got footprints on it.
Yeah, this is 7 coming around right now.
I think number 5 is
All
the
right.
one you missed.
Visual appeal.
Oh, I just okay. That was okay. That's all right.
Well,
It's hard to
yeah,
accurately
Okay.
judge about the smush like that.
yeah, I'll go there.
On to
All right.
7.
I think they stole the rosin out of it before they shipped it.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it's it was a white hair.
So what was your number 7 like, Al? Where'd you go?
The dog maybe floated over there.
Al!
Oh, I just seen one.
Oh, what are you on? 2 or 3? Where?
Probably
Yeah,
dog.
3?
Oh, the dog. was
Okay,
over
Roman
Yeah, it's
strength.
hard to say.
Okay.
Number 3, yeah.
Roman
I
strength.
heard he's back.
there.
There he is.
I lost my mic. I had to
what was
reboot
your-
everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
was,
thought it had been Tessa's
your number
hair at
7.
first, but that's not.
I still have number
Was it
7
me?
here sitting in front of me. I'm taking a break.
No.
And you're
just
what?
the smell. The
I'm
pleasant
taking a break.
No, okay.
Right, because they do aroma strength. Is it a strong smell? And then is it an enjoyable smell?
And it didn't
But yeah,
look like
that's
that.
not
Sure.
blonde.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Number 5,
Huh?
There's a
stickiness.
hair.
There's a
That
hair.
was.
Stickiness.
I wasn't sure if it was Tessa's hair.
Stickiness.
No, it hasn't been out of the package. That's why everything was
Yeah.
open in front of everybody.
Yeah.
I just wanted
That-
to make sure everybody saw it.
Oh, I can
It's
see it in
not-
the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
Tessa.
I can see it.
Does anybody
And
want
contaminants.
Hang on.
What is it?
Hang on.
What did you find?
a hair?
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to
You
see what
found
that
a hair. Is it a dog hair, human hair, or
no,
cat
the
hair?
package was opened right here.
It's not purple.
No, it's crimpy and it's like blonde.
Blonde hair? Package your hair.
Right there, look at that. See it? Yep. Yeah. There you
So
go.
there was hair. You gotta change that
Okay,
to
here's
hair.
this. I don't know if you can see, Al.
Cross out the no and put hair.
No, not really.
Hang on.
Okay.
Okay, that's too bad.
Visual appeal.
No moisture.
Hard to tell. It's been squished out.
Have number 7.
Like I said,
We have to smoke it for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aroma strain.
And once you're done number 7, we move on to the pre-rolls.
Pre-rolls. Yeah, I'm gonna get up and fire up the barbecue at that time too.
I like the smell.
I'll have to try to jump back and
Papers.
forth.
The gazette.
Gazees, papers. Adam is dissecting it here.
Oh, this still has some of number 1 in it.
You can smell it, eh?
Oh yeah.
Smells familiar.
I like the smell of it though.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Really? I know. And they have nothing has been sitting. They were in the box until I brought them up and brought them here.
Have you found any really dry buds yet?
No,
I
not really.
would say so. No.
And they were all pretty
Yeah.
manicured, eh? They're pretty manicured well.
Oh, my.
So really, the only thing that because I haven't found any contaminants at all, and you've just found a hair, so that's
Yeah.
really the only contaminants that we've found.
It would.
Right.
Well, yeah. Was it laying right on top of the bud, or was it in top? Of the
Well,
bud?
I just have to. We know it wasn't Sarah's because Sarah's not a blonde.
Right.
When I took it, it was a little bit like stuck,
Yeah, it's stuck
but
on.
not
there.
Like
Okay.
in it.
That
Right,
bud looked
stuck-
like somebody
yeah.
stepped
I'm
on it.
just trying to make sure it wasn't something that floated.
Yeah,
No.
that's
between
why
it
I
was
That's why I asked if it was purple.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we have.
I
don't think we have a blonde hair here.
Yeah, I thought it
Oh,
was
yeah, that's
My,
the
my
shot.
hair's brown and
It
gray.
was the top
because
of
you
the-
are you're the third person.
Yep. I think everybody's going to have to stand up and prove if you're a blonde or not.
Was there any aroma to it?
Yeah.
Oh, there is. But
Al's having a moment.
I have a distinct smell that I smell from it.
Poop?
No.
Never mind.
I put my
shoes back on then.
Some
This
people
strain has the
find it
distinct
pleasant
odor of
smell.
poop.
Aroma pleasantness.
Yeah.
Nah,
You got me.
okay.
You're not done
Lemonade.
with it yet.
No.
11 from yours.
Squish. We
Is this
usually squish for a
sticky
reason. They're
with-
trying to hide
I
things.
forgot to get that.
Okay, now I didn't see any physical contaminants, but I saw it come off of there, so I saw hairs.
There.
Correct. Yeah, it's hair bracket.
Hair.
Hair.
Great play
Okay.
and movie. Hair. Just saying.
Okay, does anybody want hot dogs or just burgers?
Yes, please.
I'm gonna have whatever everybody else is gonna have.
I'm happy with whatever's cooked.
Yeah,
Okay. All
just be thankful we don't have to cook ourselves.
right. Okay, so now you're rolling up a joint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at my paper.
You might have to drop the umbrella soon, Al, because it's getting dark in there. Or is the sun is it hot, foggy? Or
It's just behind a cloud.
cloudy?
Cloud.
Okay.
Cloud. That's all. While Wayne's grinding that, I'm gonna fire up the barbecue.
The big chunks are getting stuck in the grinder. Here's the scissors.
Usually
Gone.
after every joint, I have that one.
What's
Pretty
that?
good. The cigarette.
Oh,
It didn't grind very well. I had to break out the scissors to grind it good.
oh, no, really? Oh, that's not good. Oh.
You're doing a good job.
Put you in the corner.
I'm well seasoned. Rolling for a long time.
Hey, barbecue is started.
There you go.
So there's no seeds or anything in there.
No seeds?
No.
Any lumber?
A little bit, yeah.
Little lumber.
There's two nice sized pieces there.
Oh.
Can you even hear the music, Al?
I can just barely hear it.
Better?
Yeah, it's better. You can hear me over the music? Sounds good. When it's ground up. So ground it up fast.
That's probably the way to do it. Look at it all as a bud, grind it up, roll a joint, and then pass the leftovers back around. Stuck on viewing. No, I didn't find any more hairs. Didn't find any seeds. Or...
Right. So what am I doing?
Now,
This is coming this way. That's what I was
I
doing.
like that.
You like that, eh?
I like
I like that.
Got that Northern Lights taste to it.
I've got some Northern Lights down in the basement, Wayne.
Oh yeah.
I'm sexing and I'm waiting. Still haven't found any balls yet.
Wayne did that.
Awesome.
Wayne did.
Yeah.
I'm smelling Wayne.
It's too bad. I just threw
I
it
know,
in.
I'm coming over.
Sorry.
Yeah, I like that smell.
Yeah, it had a pleasant smell.
Joints going? Yeah.
it. Smells nicer than yours.
Yeah, I'm definitely putting a guess in on the strain for this one too. So 2 out of 7, I'm guessing the strain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know your first guess was a black domino.
Black Domino. Yeah.
But would a licensed producer be?
I don't know, but the
Black
original,
Domino?
whatever they say it is, I'm going to be looking in to see what the original genetics are of it.
You've been naming them, have you been, Wayne?
Just 2 of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a question.
Yeah.
I saw that, but I just bypassed those
Oh,
two.
yeah, fair. You did
The
say
last 2 questions.
Yeah.
No, I have no way of knowing what they are at all.
Yeah,
I'm not that good at it.
Well, there's
I
just
know what I like.
There's certain strains I've always sought after, or that are
Yep,
really memorable
yep.
from a friend, and yeah.
Yeah.
If you gave me a White Widow, I'd know it for sure.
Yeah.
I'm tasting some and 1 or 2 of them, like some Bubble Kush.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially that, I think it was the second sample that was purpley. It was really purple.
Yeah.
I think it was like one of the only ones that was purple.
Well, the first one was purple, and then the third one was purple.
The third one, there we go.
Yeah.
It was almost
Where
black.
are
We're still talking about strains here, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, we're talking about which one out of these samples, which one was purple looking.
You gotta go run for their money.
Right.
And 11 is overall enjoyment.
My dog.
We'll give them a run for their money.
My dog is doing laps. She's
buy
walking around the hallway. She's bored.
Yeah. On payday.
Okay.
There you go. I win. What do you win?
Well, you post it on your social media, you could win prizes. Pictures, if people were here taking pictures and posting it on their Instagram or on their Facebook and tagging the Karma Cup, they would possibly win prizes. Yeah.
Nice ash.
Yeah. Okay, what do we got here? Here we go.
So you're on number 7, yes?
Yeah, this is the last one. We're
Barbecue.
just finishing up. We're doing the smoking test, right?
Do good that way.
I'm just looking at the ash. Confirming what I was thinking.
They may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Here we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Now picture this 5, 10 years ago.
Oh, it was solid people, man. It was huge.
But
huge.
you know, okay, like I mean, I grew up in Toronto, and we used to go downtown on any given day, and you'd be shoulder to shoulder people like this.
Yeah.
And
that
that doesn't even happen anymore downtown,
sidewalk
unless
to
there's
sidewalk.
an event. Yep.
Yeah, sidewalk to sidewalk. But you know, it's not one of those this year, and then we have to start fresh and build again.
Yep.
And you know, it's doing things like this to allowing people to know that hey, this is still going on, and why we should be getting involved in it.
And we like to air these things so that people like myself who can't do this anymore Yeah. You know, I mean, even if you're not there, you're still supporting us and you're supporting this event. And that helps because it creates a conversation, and maybe next year there'll be double what's here.
Yeah, exactly. As long as I don't forget, throughout the parade, I'll grab some people. I'll ask them why they are marching.
Yes, I think you should.
All right, there you go. So, what do you think?
I think it's excellent. I love, again, I was talking with Timmy earlier, and it's always like somebody starts something and everybody responds. And that's the beautiful thing about it is we're all here, and it's these events to give us a chance to kind of find each other. So this is my first march. I've been involved in plenty of events, but my first march. So
really,
so it's really exciting to be part of the movement and have, excuse me, in that sense. And again, any opportunity that we get to kind of unite commercial, legacy, home grower, and just cannabis advocate together as one voice collectively, we're going to get more done. So, bueno. Exactly. More people will speak up, our voices are louder. Yeah, that's it. I I think it was Dalai Lama said, if you think you're too small to make a difference, sleep in a tent with a mosquito. So, kind of not lots of times. So if you don't believe, anybody who's done that can definitely agree how a small thing can make a big difference. You should let everybody know who you're talking to. So, pardon me? Should let everybody know who's talking. Oh, I'm D the Bug Guy. I'm just I'm a Canadian grower. I'm medically licensed. I'm also CanCell certified. So I love exploring the different aspects of the industry, as well as being part of the moving change. We have a good system in the sense that it's better than not having one, but there's still work to be done. That's right. Sure is. Yeah. So basically you march for? Access, and I march for everybody. I march for those that can't be here today. I march for those that have been incarcerated for this plant, that still feel silenced, that don't have the access. But like I said, otherwise, we're here to support the plant. And the people that are here are trying to make a difference. A lot of familiar faces and a lot of new faces. So, So, like I said, me being one of them with the march. But, there's events surrounding it. We come together. It's a round table. Next time is better. Yeah. So it's all about execution. And like I said before, you build it and they come. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. All right. Well, thank you for the words. Anytime, man. I'll see you throughout the day, bro. Yeah, that's right. That's right. We will. I'm going to see if I can grab Scott here.
Cool.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Dad, how are you doing these days?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure. The answer is 8. It's always 8.
It's always 8. Not for this question, though. Why do you march?
I march because we still have a message to send around the world. We've legalized it. We've made it work for the best. I think it's not perfect, but we've made it. And we were talking earlier, a few of us, about the old expo days and treating yourself and how far we've come. And yet the world still is trying to catch up, I think.
And back in those days, we were out advocating for cannabis law reform, and we're still asking for cannabis law reform because there's always, like you said, it's not perfect. There's always changes that could be made.
Lots of changes that can be made. From the fact that they're talking about decriminalizing hard drugs right now, I think that's a good conversation to be having, and I think it's the right time. Also, I want to say something. I have a very nasty injury I recently suffered, and I have really come to realize this. We should maybe
we should move along, eh?
That some of the damn packaging. Did you get it? Some of the damn packaging in these containers and stuff that we're buying nowadays.
Oh, brutal!
I have suffered greatly trying to get into these.
Oh, big time! Oh, I know.
Putting my foot down, I'm tired of it, and I know a lot of people are.
Yeah, like I anything that I've had to open, majority of the time I've had to use scissors in order to get into them.
It's very difficult to do right now. So, and I'm not complaining, not at all. I'm not saying that. Yeah. I'm saying that this is a simple injury in a lot of people's lives to what they've suffered. And if I'm having that much difficulty trying to get into my medicine, I can't imagine what it must be for a lot of people.
Oh, yes, because especially so many people go to the stores for medicinal purposes, And I think that's I'm going to say too, because a lot of there's been a lot of increase in the older category of people going in, right? So they're having to deal with these packages.
And yes, from seniors to disabled people, even the people that are new to it, they're befuddled by some of these packagings, and I just look at them and just have to roll my eyes and go, yeah,
Yeah.
Our experiment.
Organization. Yeah, correct. Well, we caught up to the parade again there, Al. All right, Scott. Thanks. We'll be talking, man.
I will look forward to
it. That's right. Bye. How are you? Can I ask you a question, just so you know? I'm Al. My producer, and we're live on 420radio.ca and paceradio.net. So basically, my basic question is pretty simple. Why do you march?
I've been doing it for years, and we still need to recognize it globally, so I march.
There you go. Exactly.
I want to travel and be able to smoke weed in other countries.
Yeah, exactly. Good answer. Thank you. Right. So we need lounges. We need lounges where they can host events.
Yes, we do. We're missing so many of them now. It's really sad.
So why do you march, Ashley?
Oh, because this needs to be legal everywhere, and we need to change the face of legality too. We definitely need lounges.
Yeah, exactly.
We used to have a lot of them in Toronto. Not
yeah.
Now there's
exactly.
Like 4.
We'll get there. You know, as I said to people earlier, when cannabis was illegal, we were marching for cannabis law reform, and we're still doing that today.
To this day, 100%. We still need to up all of our legal limits to allow for medical patients to actually get some form of relief.
Why should someone get arrested with 32 grams or a ticket for 32 grams when you can go places and buy substances with greater quantity?
Right?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
All right. Thanks, Ashley.
No problem. Thank you.
Website?
SofaKingGoodBakery.com.
Okay. Thank you. Do you remember the days when the chant was so loud it would echo off the buildings?
Right? Oh my God, you couldn't see the street.
Yeah, side to side, sidewalk to sidewalk. Yeah. Oh yeah. I have a simple question for you. I'm asking everybody as we go along here. Why do you march?
I march because cannabis is legal here, it doesn't mean it is in other parts of the world. People are jailed for this everywhere.
Yeah.
And even with legalization, there's still there's still a legal system that's attached to this. Like,
legalize
people have 28 grams of cannabis. It's a little crazy. And there's people suffering around the world, jailed, facing death sentences for cannabis.
A year ago, there was a couple of guys in Singapore that got hung.
That exactly.
I think there's somebody else waiting to be
Our
hung as
crowd's
well.
a bit smaller than it has been in other years, but the message is still the same. And it will still be the same until cannabis is legalized and it's legal and accepted.
Exactly.
Stigma needs to be removed as well, right? So,
Exactly.
We're working on that. I mean, we're 5 years here legalization, and it's still, stigma's still attached to it.
Exactly.
So it's not going to be a quick fix, but we keep this up and we keep normalizing it.
It's like 90 years of prohibition. That ain't going away.
Exactly. And we think it's just because now we have stores everywhere. It's just going to be, hoity-toity and fun and it's not. People still have are still, brainwashed. The reefer madness, that generation is still around. So,
Yeah, exactly.
And their kids. So we just need to change the way cannabis is viewed. And again, not just here globally. This is a global march. This isn't just in Toronto. This is just Toronto's section of this global march.
Yeah, exactly.
So we just need to, keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah, exactly.
There's one going on in New York right now too.
Al says there's one going on in New York right now.
I love it. Well, it is global, right, guys?
That's right, global. All right. Oh, we got a poll there. All right, thanks, Amy.
Take a poll.
All
Put some
Oh,
rap music
yeah.
on.
I'll stop and ask Church a question. Uh-oh. I'm asking everybody the same question.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Why do you march?
I march to spread awareness and to show my experience along with having a good time and hanging out with some friends.
That's right. Yeah. Awareness is good.
That's
Okie dokie. Thank you.
The Hamilton Police
Hey,
Headquarters.
I've got 11 here, and I've got a question for 11.
Okay, you
All
go ahead
right,
and ask.
and I asked this question of everybody I've been talking to during the march. Okay. Why do you march?
7.5 inches. Oh, sorry, what?
Why do you march?
I thought it was something else. I thought you were going to ask me something else. I mean, one, it's just great to see everyone. Let's be honest. Should we keep walking? Let's not lose the herd. So it's definitely a community thing. It's definitely a beautiful energy, but we got to show up, just like with the podcast, as the different manifestations as we are as like consistent cannabis users and community members, to show how diverse, like you got to show up for it to kind of like share the colors inside of the community and kind of just like represent. So I think it's rewarding definitely to be part of it, but yeah, like to show up and to march, I think you gotta give that respect to the plant by like presenting yourself as part of something that is involved with cannabis. So I feel like it was just representing, but also it's totally selfish. It's 100% selfish because I just get to hang out with a bunch of stoners.
Yeah, dual purpose. Fight for cannabis law reform and hang out with friends.
Yeah, I feel like we even just shifted the energy to like fun. I mean, it feels protesty because we have a chant, but it's like, me, I prefer to kind of focus on the, on what's working, on what the positive is. So if we can all just constantly live a good example, like by checking ourselves first, and then what people notice of the community is positive. Like, look, everyone's just goofing around, laughing, being creative, colorful bunch. Like, it's about the opportunity to, offer that impact as like what collectively as a group a stoner's supposed to like be. Not that it's period after this group. It's just like here's a bit. Here's like a Toronto vibe. Yeah.
And in this march are some people who've been here since the beginning, and it's good to see that this year's a bigger march than last year. And last year was sort of it wasn't really much promo or anything, and this year is some promo done, and we got more people out.
Just keep moving with it, man. That's it. Let the momentum build.
Do it all again next year. Just try to build again, rebuild.
It's always a fun time, and it gives you the opportunity to probably try some new shit or smoke a joint with someone you ain't never smoked a joint with before.
Somebody maybe you only knew through Facebook.
Well, that's what I said. I was joking about that when I was getting the chance together. I'm like, it's like this is a fucking bunch. Like I see a bunch of faces that I only see online.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's true. So, all right, 11. Well, let's shout out to where people can find you, man.
Discipline Stoners. Me and my wife, Winnie Clark, have a podcast called Discipline Stoners, and I mean, a bunch of people who are here have been on it and will be on it. And we just are lucky enough to be documenting this time period in history and going at it through the lens of mindfulness. So that's like what we talk about. And yeah, we do canna covers, all sorts of stuff like that. So you can check us out. Discipline.
We'll have a show about the march. And after, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe a song. Yeah.
Damn, didn't someone catch the ball? I think Spliff McKenzie. We just made history. I was just freestyling, and then a homie comes up and starts freestyling next. It was awesome, and like there's always those moments that happen authentically, and when you exist in the cut,
Yeah, exactly. All righty.
You're documenting it.
Oh yes. Been doing it for years. We used to just do it in audio. Now you got the cameras going, so yeah, that's right. Cannabis. There we go. All right. Thanks, 11.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you. Good to see you. I got a question for you, Val. All right. Why do you march?
Because we can.
Yeah, we can. That's right. It's allowed in our country.
We sure can.
There's a lot of countries where you can't.
Absolutely, you bet. And we're so lucky to be here in Canada.
Hmm. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. 11 getting the chance going there. Yeah,
Job.
he does, doesn't he? Eh?
Yeah, totally.
All right. Oh, okay. On to my next interview, I guess.
On to
Yes.
your next victim.
Pop up question. That's what I'm going around asking everybody. Why do you march?
That's a great question.
Talked to, I don't know, half a dozen, 7 people so far.
You march.
Why do I march? I march for cannabis law reform. That's the same reason I marched for when I started this, going to these approximately 20 years ago. And I still do it for today because even though cannabis is legal, we still need cannabis law reform. People can still get fined or even arrested for quantities of cannabis that are, they're only 30 grams. Some people need more than that. You go camping for 2 weeks. You're going to take, some people, 30 grams isn't going to be enough. So people risk that. There's the taxes. There's people getting just arrested. There's other stuff as well. If you could deal with those excise taxes, that would help lower the cannabis. Maybe make it so that you don't have to climb a mountain and swim through the ocean in order to get to the regulatory part of it all.
Yeah, agreed.
So, all right, Val. Good talking to you.
Hooray.
Hey, Thomas, how you doing? Good. I got a quick. Yeah, that's right. I got a quick question for you. Ask
away.
All right.
Legalization globally, and for me, it's logical legislation here in Canada. We're just doing it badly for the wrong reasons. So for me, I want to stand against that.
Still fighting for cannabis law reform.
Exactly. What a way to say it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was thinking, well, why do I march? And I thought, well, why did I march in the beginning? And it had to do with to change the cannabis laws because cannabis is illegal, right?
This is the second march for me in the 25. I think I went 20 years ago when I moved way too much weed to be out here openly. I never went again.
Now back then I was marching for cannabis law reform, and today I still march for cannabis law reform because there's things that could be changed. The regulatory end of things, as well as I look at it as, taxes would obviously make it better. I think I adjust that. Patients can have tax-free medicine. Why not a location where a patient can actually go into and get their medicine and talk to somebody who's,
Well, I would just take the boot off the neck of the industry. It's stifling innovation. Nobody can move. It's a stranglehold in favor of monopolizing for corporate interests that do not care about the average Canadian, doesn't care about the medical patient, doesn't care about the recreational user. Let's smarten up.
Yeah, exactly. And some countries use us as an example of way to do things, and we're still fighting in order to make change.
Yeah, well, one punch at a time, right?
That's right. Exactly. All right, Thomas. Thank you.
All right, keep marching.
We will. I think the newbie is burning up the tires on the little Nugs cart here.
Last time I checked, I don't even know if the baby's still in there.
Oh, really?
It's been a long time since I've looked.
You got it tied in there pretty good, though, with the string and all.
It's pretty secure, but ever since he's become mobile, he climbs out every once in a while. So, yeah, how big is Toronto? I'm sure we'll find him later.
So I have a question for you. As you said, you're the newbie. Why do you march?
To have the conversation, or to encourage having the conversation. I think my biggest thing is I do not like the fact that any conversation is cut down because people are uncomfortable or they only want one side to be told. And I think that the conversation regarding cannabis isn't fully being told or fully allowed to be told. And I think that's both the positives and the negatives. I'm not even advocate that it's, the miracle. I don't think anything is the one and all thing, but people have to at least be willing to do the studies on it, have the conversations. What is it actually doing? Where does it help? Who can it help? And allow people to find that personalization that I've really come to understand. Like I used to think that weed equals weed, and now I've become fully aware that it's so personal in terms of how you take it, how much you take it, what you take it for. And if the conversation isn't allowed to be had, then people will constantly be quite possibly utilizing it in the wrong way because they have nobody to really go to find out how they can improve, I guess, their experience with the plant. That make sense?
Yeah, it sure does. And being you're a newbie, it's good to hear.
Yeah, you know what? And I think if the conversation is allowed to be had, then the stigma breaks. All those other things that people are wanting to have happen. I think it just starts with people being allowed to even discuss it.
Yeah, exactly. Because before, without legalization, that was that would be an issue with a lot of people. They didn't want to discuss it because it was illegal, and they figured discussing it would be taken negatively by somebody in their family or a friend or.
I don't know. You tell me, Al. You've been in this community for way longer than I've even been in it, for sure. But I think the conversation doesn't want to even be fully had within the community, lest some of the I think everything has positives and negatives, and I think sometimes even the community itself doesn't want the full conversation to be had. It just in case, even MJ and I talk sometimes, and she's worried sometimes that she might find out that maybe she isn't a fully medical user, and that bothers her. Maybe she is more of a recreational user, and not that there should be a stigma attached to that either, but she's preached so long in her own mind that this is why I consume, that she's almost afraid to find out that maybe there are other reasons she consumes, and then that changes the narrative that's been built up in her own head.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's scary for some people.
Well, personally myself, I've been consuming cannabis since I was 13. And when I became a patient when I was 41, it was something that I knew I could use as the benefit wise, and would help me. There was a benefit for me to consume it because it was going to help me with my condition. And because of cannabis, I never got prescribed any opiate drugs other than when I was hospitalized.
Do you?
So because I couldn't shut up.
So let me ask you this, just because we're talking conversation, or having the conversation.
Yeah, and we're stuck here.
One of the things that, in regards to opening the conversation, and I'd love to have your opinion on this, is MJ and I talk a lot about the consuming it through the burning consumption, through smoking it, and the health benefits that can come from cannabis, but also, there's also the negative side of, that form of consumption can certainly do damage to lungs. And I think that's the conversation that even people in the community are afraid to have, because everybody just wants to talk about it as if it's this perfect thing. How do you feel about that concept of that form of consumption?
Oh, I've been a toker all the way along, but I push and discuss the non-smoking methods, because I don't expect somebody who, let's say, is 75 years of age and is going to start using cannabis medicinally, who has never smoked anything in their life. I don't think that they should be forced to smoke cannabis, and that was part of the argument before the courts back in 2013, because at that time smoked cannabis was the only way that we were legally allowed to consume it as patients. Right. And so it went battled through the courts, and we had like a 5-year-old lad whose mother was making him cannabis oil, But that at that time was illegal, and she was risking arrest.
Do you? I think okay. So I as you're just talking there, I'm just thinking this out loud.
Sirens blaring.
Right? We better. MJ always makes comments about the fact of 5 years ago, this whole place would have scattered as soon as they heard the sirens go.
Now,
no.
Now they ride by on their bikes and they say hi.
I think one of the things also about why I advocate for having the conversation is because of things like you just described, where somebody now comes into the world of going, okay, there is a more natural way for me to maybe, fight against some drug that maybe the pharmaceuticals have been working with them with. And now they're like, oh, well, maybe cannabis can actually do it for me. But there's very few people, though, that they can actually go to have the conversation to say, hey, guess what? You don't have to smoke it, because the stigma and the perception is like I thought that was the only way it was ever consumed. Like the fact that there's so many methods now has blown my mind over the years. But again, it goes back to having that conversation. People still don't know, so now they're thinking, oh man, I could probably use cannabis, but I don't want to smoke it, and they don't even realize that there's an option.
Exactly, they don't.
That only happens when people are willing to sit down and go. We talk about bud tenders being kind of handcuffed, that they're not able to, they often are the doorkeeper, and someone comes in and they're interested in trying something, but the bud tenders aren't equipped and empowered and trained enough to really share any information with them. And so where do people go who are like going, I think this can help me, but nobody can talk to me about it, and nobody's willing to talk.
Oh, believe me, in those early days, that was big time, big issue. And there's more now than there was 5 years ago, but 10 years ago, it was nasty.
Well, I can tell you this, and I'll end with this because there's lots of other people.
Right, we got to go.
Yeah. But this conversation that I'm just having with you, if you had told me 10 years ago that I would be at a global marijuana march on a video feed having a conversation about cannabis, I would have been like I would have thought you are nuts and you're high. You got to be high, clearly. So just that's why I'm here, is the fact of, even as a non-consumer, I still believe that these conversations need to be had, and that's what I'm advocating for.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Thanks, Timmy. Where can people find you?
Oh, well, you can find us at the Newbie and the Doobie, and we do have a show here. What is it, Wednesday nights, I think?
10 o'clock.
Wednesday nights is 10 o'clock, the Newbie and Doobie podcast, and we're actually working on a bunch of new stuff right now that we'll be looking to release in the next little while. Then, of course, Mary Jane Baker's got her own stuff through Instagram, and I'm at The Real Timmy Boyle. But Newbie and the Doobie, check us out, and we want to break the stigma, have the conversation, bring the fun, and raise the bar.
There you go. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. All right. Well, signing off here. We're live here at the Global Marijuana March at Queen's Park, Toronto, the North. And come on, check us out. We'll be here, well, obviously, till after the 420. If you're close, stop in for a visit. Check out our vendors. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Hi, I'm Timmy.
And I'm Mary Jane. He's the newbie.
She's the doobie, and this is the show
where we
toke
cannabis.
Talk.
From both sides.
Is that even possible?
You're watching the 420 Pace Network, found at 420radio.ca and paceradio.net. Are you looking for non-stop, continuous cannabis and psychedelic programming? If you are, then turn your browsers to 420radio.ca or paceradio.net, where you will find the 420 Pace re-rolled Saturday. Everything gets started at 8 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning. You're watching the 420 Pace Network, found at 420radio.ca and paceradio.net.
So what are you doing? Nothing. Nothing? Why not? Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website. Sounds like a cool website. Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it. You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.
You like music, you like weed, well, we gonna be good friends indeed. This is how much I like more than smoking trees. They'll make you dance the do-si-do and teach you how the chiba grows. Smoke a bowl on the 420 radio show. On Lifestyle Radio.
Radio.
Can you hear me now?
Hi, can you hear me now? Hi. I have to hear.
Hi, how high are you?
I'm better than I was yesterday.
Good.
That's always good.
How's all your snow?
We've got about a foot, maybe. Some is melted. It was sunny all day today, but I had to dig myself out. And that was not easy because I dug myself out. And then when I came back, the fucking street plow came and plowed me back in.
That's the way it always works.
Oh, I was ready to chase the guy.
I was ready to chase the
Oh, his car is bigger than my car, though.
Al, I can see you running down the street chasing him with a shovel.
No. It would have been with the car.
Oh.
I'm not an idiot. It's cold out there, dude.
Well, you're running, so we kept you warm.
Anyways, yeah, there's snow. But, they're getting it everywhere now, so I don't feel so bad. We've had it for a couple of weeks already. But Rosa enjoys it. Marcel is quiet because he's reading up on our topic of the day, linalool. Maybe he'll even spell it.
Linalool.
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 And of course, because she hears me talking, now Miss Missy's coming in here. Come here. Come on, baby. Oh, she discovered I left the door open for her. So how's it going there, guys?
Actually, the more I'm reading, the more I'm liking.
Well, you see, this is why I picked topics out of the blue.
But for other reasons than what you would topic-wise.
But it's still good to know these things, as a home care alternative to things.
Yeah, see, I've read this before.
Just so we know, what are you getting your information from?
I am getting my information from the Big Book of Terps written by Ross Hudson,
who was on the show a couple of years ago, and Marcel made me send him the book. I don't have it.
Yeah, and it's the Big Book of Terps, so understanding terpenes, flavonoids, and synergy in cannabis, but it doesn't deal with just cannabis. It talks about the terpenes that are in cannabis, but a lot of those same terpenes are in other plants.
So we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk and focus on this terpene because there's a lot of information that he's got there. And
maybe what we'll do is maybe every week we'll do one terpene.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and after this, if this goes well, we can do more terpenes. But the reason that I asked Marcel to look into this tonight is because my niece is having seizures, and her mom is looking at alternatives to drugs to keep her off the pills and stuff that the hospitals like to give people. So we're looking at different strains with different terpenes in it. And I know that Cheryl T. Rose is also looking at the same kind of thing to help her daughter Haley as well. So Maybe we should invite Lori on the show for some terpene talk, because I miss Lori.
Who's Lori you keep talking about?
Lori McEachern, hello.
Oh, oh no, I was actually just chatting with her yesterday, I think.
Oh, really? You guys are talking again. That's awesome. Invite her to come on the show. Tell her I say hello.
No, we were commenting back and forth on PJ's thread about cream puffs. I love cream puffs.
I love PJ. She's hilarious.
PJ confused me yesterday when she said you bought the wrong yeast. I didn't know there was a wrong yeast.
You know, and that's what I said. I know there's different kinds of yeast for different things.
Yeah,
right?
There's not a wrong one. I've got 2 or 3 different types of yeast in the cupboard now.
She tried to get me to come and look at an apartment that was available in her building a bunch of years ago. And I said to her a few weeks ago or a couple of months ago that we would have gotten in so much trouble if I had done that.
Yeah, but it would have
and I would have been so fat because she cooks all the time. It's okay, I'm already fat. Hi, Darcy.
Hi.
You gonna turn your camera on maybe and say hello? Since you got your newfangled computer there.
Yeah, and showing off your shirt.
I will here once everybody's in my kitchen.
Who's in your kitchen?
You're allowed to have people in your kitchen. You know, you do work at home.
Well, my wife and my dog and.
Well, they can all
your
be.
Your wife is always a stone's throw away from you.
Actually, no. Now she's going back to the bedroom.
No. Okay. Does she smoke pot in there?
No.
When you're not looking.
Did you share a link?
Oh shit! Thank you.
Did you share a link that we're talking about terpenes?
I'm finding that a lot of people, yes, they do. I smoke in the house. When I have B&B guests here, I make it very well known that you're very welcome to smoke cannabis in the house. Al Graham does not smoke in his house. He'll vape in the house, but will not smoke. Do you vape in the house, dude?
No, I actually, yeah, my volcano.
Okay, so yeah, that's vaping. Marcel, you smoke in the house openly.
I do whatever the fuck I want. It's my house.
Me too. It's my house.
My house, my rule. You don't like it, don't visit.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about that is we try and keep the kids away from that smoke.
Fucking people are smart enough to keep their kids away from me now, anyways.
Well, it keeps people from coming over.
I need one of those signs. Yeah, fuck the dog. Beware of owner.
So get one.
Yeah, I'm gonna need one.
Dog beware of owner. Yeah, that's your shirt, Marcel.
Yeah. My dog runs to me for protection, and she's the guard dog, so she just figures that I'm going to do a lot more damage than she will. And only because I have vented up frustration and I can't let it out on just some innocent person. It's got to be somebody that deserves it. Or deserves something.
Right.
It's like some guy's getting charged again for saving somebody by killing somebody else.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, what, another Dr. Death?
No. This happened on a bus or something like that.
I shared.
So
there's too much death going on in the world today.
Yep.
People need to fucking chill out and do mushrooms and live.
Well, but in Canada, you're not allowed to protect yourself.
And you're not allowed to do mushrooms.
No, that either. Right? But I mean, if somebody
no, actually, that's not true. In Canada, you can protect yourself, but there's an equal force law.
See, I have a different attitude when it
well,
comes.
There's your attitude and then the law, and I know this because I worked in security for a little while, and they will tell you flat out that if you're going to defend yourself, you cannot go any further than the person that you're defending yourself from has gone.
Well,
Like,
that's
in
good
other words,
because
if
I'm being attacked, obviously that person is trying to kill me.
Yes.
Which means when they die, that's on them.
Ain't that the truth?
It is. It is exactly that. I'll use as much force as necessary to get my point across.
Yeah, but just so you know, there is an equal force law in Canada. There used to be, anyways.
Hey, just be lucky. Just be lucky the guy that robbed Marcel's garden, Marcel wasn't 20 years younger.
Yeah, but he still got whipped.
Yeah, he still got his ass handed to him.
Yeah, oh, he did, but just be glad he wasn't 20 years younger.
Did you ever find out who ripped you off?
Me? Well, yeah, it was one of the homeless guys that got caught here.
Oh.
But like I said,
he won't do it again.
No, he definitely won't do it again. Ever since they were spoken to, and I haven't seen hide nor hair of no one around my house since.
Funny how all you have to do is have a chat once, and nobody comes around ever again. Like, I'm sure. Well, I know who was telling everybody to stay away from here before, but all of those people are gone. I wonder if it's been passed on to the younger, dumber ones. Well, that's what I keep waiting for.
So, are we going to talk about some terpenes?
Do you want to talk about terpenes now?
Well, we do have a while.
We do have a while.
We could wait. Okay, I have a question for everybody.
Go for it.
What are you smoking?
I'm smoking right now some papaya that I got today.
What are you smoking, Darcy?
I'm smoking. Well, I'm smoking. Fuck! What did I roll? Some wedding cake.
Some wedding cake.
But I threw some rosin in it and some hash and some.
I like wedding cake.
And I dusted the outside with some keef, and then I filled the bowl up with a bunch of that stuff, and yeah. So, but I'm trimming up some on my outdoor right now because I found a spot or two of mold that I didn't like to see in it. So now that made me paranoid, and now I'm going over it all again to make sure that there's no mold in it.
Oh, I'm smoking red hash, and I'm trying to figure out if it's Moroccan or Lebanese, and I haven't decided yet. But I may not be able to figure it out because I'm also drinking a red eye ice cap.
A red
eye ice cap.
Okay,
I'm having a tea.
Here is recipe time. I'm going to share a recipe because I don't fucking share recipes very often. And if I do, I usually leave an ingredient out.
Do we need a segment
on this one?
Do we need a little intro?
We could. Here's a fucking recipe. We'll just use that sound clip later for an intro. How's that?
Yeah, okay.
Tim Hortons makes red eye ice caps. All right, they've made ice
Whoever's
caps.
Got their cell phone near their microphone. Move it.
No, Al, you're here in my dishwasher, so I want to.
Oh, okay.
Mute my mic, so just let me know when you're.
Okie doke. Go ahead, Marcel.
So, I've always liked ice caps from Tim Hortons, right? And I would prefer an ice cap over a warm cappuccino, although I do like a warm cappuccino.
But I don't like coffee, but okay.
Then they came out with red eye ice caps. And basically, it's an ice cap with a shot of espresso. So it gives
thank you.
A little more coffee flavor to it.
No.
But they're also made with a whole bunch of fucking chemicals that I'm not a big fan of ingesting as much as I love these things.
So you make your own.
So I went and I found the recipe for it. So here's the recipe, and I'm only going to share this once.
Okay.
You need a blender, a good fucking blender, because you got to crush ice. But a tablespoon of brown sugar, about a teaspoon and a half of instant dark coffee, teaspoon and a half of instant espresso powder.
Hi, buddy.
Mixed into a half cup of warm or hot water, right?
No milk?
To dissolve it. Just wait to dissolve it. Once it's dissolved, add that into the blender with brown sugar. Then add in a full cup of or half cup of heavy cream, right? Ideally around 18%.
So is it a full cup or a half a cup?
Half a cup of heavy cream, so it's about 18%. Some places call it a coffee cream, I think. Others will call it a heavy cream. Regardless, look for 18% cream. So then you can use cocoa powder, which I'm not a big fan of because it works, but it's a chocolate syrup works better. All right, like one of those Hershey syrups, about a tablespoon of it. And then about a cup and a half to 2 cups of ice and blend it. And that'll give you a large
tumbler
red eye ice cap.
Nice.
But instead of chocolate syrup,
so it's an iced coffee or an iced cappuccino.
Iced cappuccino. So what I do is I medicate mine, and I figured it out that if I make really big ice cubes, so if I put 2 of the ice cubes together, it'd be the size and shape of a small tennis ball.
Okay.
Right? So I use big ice cubes. So what I figured out was each ice cube is equal to 1 tub of my ice cream. So instead of putting chocolate syrup in, I'll put in a medicated chocolate ice cream, or in this case, 2, and just take out 1 less ice cube. But it's healthy.
It's a lot of ice.
What?
It's a lot of ice.
What, a cup and a half ice?
Yeah.
And
And how much will that make?
Water. How many what? That
How
whole
many?
mix
Yeah.
will make 1 large ice cap. I use Tim Hortons cups.
Oh, okay.
I literally use washed out Tim Hortons cup and I fill it up, and it fills it perfectly.
Oh, cool.
So it works out to a nice size. Plus, I can medicate my ice cap. Great way to start the day, but don't start with 2. I don't suggest starting with 2 ice creams.
Now, here's the question. Why aren't you medicating it?
I am. I did.
Oh, okay.
When I medicated.
Did I miss that part?
Yeah, I think you did. It's when I put in ice cream instead of the chocolate syrup.
Or ice cream. Oh, yes. Okay.
I put in my chocolate ice cream.
Okay.
Well, it's a mocha ice cream, so it kind of works out perfectly. And so that makes that little drink about, I don't know. Oh, that batch ice cream's strong. That's probably an 80 milligram.
I haven't made ice cream yet. I've made ice cream, but I haven't made medicated ice cream yet.
So much fun.
Yeah, but I don't have any oil yet. So when I have
much harder to do.
Huh?
So much harder to do when you don't have oil.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't mind making it from cannabis and making butter and doing it that way too. But yeah, no, I want to do it with oil, I think, or even hash. How would you infuse ice cream with hash? Just break it up, mix it in?
No.
Okay.
You can, but the problem is hash in most cases has not been decarboxylated.
Well, yes.
Right.
Although a lot of people, I actually enjoy eating hash.
I've eaten tons of it.
I know.
I find it really, really good in brownies.
And it's very relaxing. And now my dog's barking, of course.
Right. But So with hash, it's a little different because you're not baking ice cream. You're not heating it up enough to decarboxylate the cannabinoids. Decarboxylate your hash first. Oh, Al muted us because his dog is
I was yelling at
arguing
my
with him.
dog. Yeah.
No, so if you decarboxylate your hash first, just put it in a silicone sticky dish and throw it in the oven. Right?
Now, will it harden again after it cools?
Doesn't matter. You're going to bake with it.
So you're
Right?
basically melting down some hash and then putting it into whatever you're cooking.
You're not melting it down. What you're doing is you're disposing a carbon molecule off the molecular chain.
Isn't that the same thing as melting it down?
No.
Oh.
So it'll melt because melting it down would lead you to believe that you're turning it into an oil, which in some cases might only be 100 degrees. Remember, you can warm up hash in your fingers.
Yes,
right?
and it gets sticky and warm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how warm are your fingers?
I usually get hash that's soft anyways. So.
Yeah, but your fingers are less than 100 degrees.
Yes.
Right. So it doesn't.
But
take
if you
much
hold on
temperature.
to a jar of a fiver of FICO cannabis oil for a few seconds, it will warm up to the point where it becomes viscous.
Right. And what temperature is it going to be?
I don't know. I don't have a thermometer.
It's going to be less than 100 degrees because you cannot produce more than 100 degrees with your body.
Okay. Why
right?
not?
Other than friction by rubbing your hands together, and you can create a little more heat that way because your body's only 98 degrees.
Fair enough.
Right?
Good point.
Right. So your hand never gets to 98 degrees, but your oil gets soft. Like coconut oil will melt in the palm
In your
of
hand.
your hand.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Well, here's a good example.
So will margarine.
Coconut oil needs 74 degrees Fahrenheit to melt.
Makes sense.
All right. Chocolate, depending on the grade of chocolate and whether or not there's coconut oil in it, because if it's coconut oil, your chocolate. So you know the icy cups and icy squares. You see them at Christmas time. The little chocolates are always wrapped in a tinfoil cup or wrapped in a tinfoil paper, and they're called icy squares and icy cups. Well, they'll melt in your hand if you've got a warm hand.
So will Smarties.
Smarties candy coating melts off, right? And that's only because
M&Ms
the
don't.
varnish that they use, because they use a thicker coating of varnish on an M&M.
I'm just singing the song in my head now.
But so
Mountain
with chocolate, most chocolate is around 95 to 100 degrees for it to melt. Right? Good chocolate.
I'm sure you've messed with chocolate a lot. I've never tried it. I know that if you don't do it right, you're going to ruin the chocolate. And
you only ruin it if you burn it.
That's what I mean, yeah.
But I think that the problem most people have with chocolate is tempering because they find it to be confusing.
And quality, Marcel.
Get in here.
Well,
come here.
Quality isn't on the person making the chocolate. Quality comes from the source of the chocolate. Right? So wherever you're getting your raw chocolate from is your quality.
Lay down, please.
But tempering chocolate is what deters most people.
Well, my mom used to do that. She had a Debbie John. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
A double boiler.
Yeah. I always use a double boiler, but a double boiler is basically a bowl over a pot of water. Right?
One of the things that when Sharon and I were going through her kitchen stuff, she took stuff, I took stuff. I wanted her bowls.
Oh yeah.
I got all her bowls. I got all her baking stuff and everything, and I don't bake. So
why would you take it if you don't bake? Maybe you should bake. Well,
I want to.
Maybe what we should do is every week we'll do one quick recipe.
All right.
So today you get a recipe for ice cap, and it kind of cheat it because you got to figure out how to mitigate that one yourself.
Yeah, well,
Next
that's
week, I'll
easy to
give
do.
you a recipe on how to make butter.
It'd be nice if we could have a link to it or something.
To what?
The recipe.
That'll be on you to put it on the webpage.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
As a clip of the video. Hey, sometimes we could even bake something and do a video of it.
You're the one with the big kitchen.
Yeah, it's not that big of a kitchen,
Yeah,
but
mine is bigger probably.
and also the
You know what? I am a more instant gratification kind of person, and I love eating baked goods, but I'm not really all that bake worthy. I used to help my mom and that kind of thing, but it's not the same, right?
but I'm different because a lot of people cook, a lot of people bake.
I like to cook.
I do both.
Yeah, usually people either do one or the other.
Yeah, but I do both.
And then people who don't do either, they're like, I'm great with a barbecue.
Yeah, well, that's how we got in that discussion about cream puffs.
Cream puffs. What are you calling me? You calling me a cream puff, buddy?
No. PJ wanted to know if it was really as hard as it looks to make cream puffs, and it isn't. It's actually pretty easy. Once you do it the first time, you realize how easy it actually is. You do it all the time. The problem is you can't.
Al always does a recipe on the Hi Guys, okay?
Yeah.
And then I found one last week that was a puff, but it was a puff, a chocolate flavored with a chocolate coating.
Oh yeah.
But and the reason that the guy made them like that was because he was trying to emulate charcoal, right? In a scene, like he was building a nativity or something. I can't remember what it was. It was a week ago. And so we I found it and we shared that on the show there. That was really good. So but it's the same. I think it's the same method as making the puffs.
What? Cream puffs. Well, cream puffs is a choux pastry. That's always the same. That's a choux pastry is basically done on the stove.
Okay.
You're kind of cooking it at the same time as you're making it. Then you pipe it out so you can make it into eclairs.
Or anything you want, really.
Or little nice little balls.
And does it harden?
Well, what happens is you put it in the oven and it bakes. So when it bakes and it comes out, it has the outer shell is very crispy. Not really crispy. It's crispy on the outside, but the inside is hollow and very light and fluffy.
Very airy, like it's got little bubbles.
Big bubbles.
Okay.
So then what you do is you fill them with whipped cream, custard, pudding. I filled them with ganache, medicated ganache one time.
You know what I would fill mine up with? Lemon sauce.
Yeah, you can fill them with literally anything.
Or even use the puff pastry and make lemon meringue puff pastry. Oh God, shut up.
If you do an original one, then you're going to do it as a custard filled, a vanilla flavored
I'm not
custard.
big on the custards. I don't like the eclairs and I like jelly stuff, but I don't like custards.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Anything that has a custard in it that you want to make at home, you don't have to fill with custard.
I know you can put cherry stuff in it and that. Yeah,
you can put anything you want. It's up to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? But because the only basic recipe is the choux pastry to make the cream puff or the eclair.
There you go, calling me a cream puff again.
Yeah. Oh, if you want to be a cream puff, be a cream puff.
No, I don't think so. I'm not going to change myself now. I'm not going to rediscover myself. Thank you. Not at 61.
If you want to medicate them, super easy too. Not the
I'm
choux pastry,
staring
but
at
the
a
filling.
recipe right now that is sausage cream cheese croissants.
Pass.
Oh no, they look so good.
Not really. No.
Darcy.
Hi, Alan.
It sounds like a waste of a croissant, really.
What are you doing, Darcy?
What am I doing? I'm sitting here trimming some weed out.
Why aren't you on camera?
Because I'm trimming weed out. My head's down, and you're just not going to see my face.
What are we going to see?
Top of my head, and you don't want to see that.
Turn your camera on for a second. I want to
Not
see how
my
you
wife.
trim. Turn your camera on. Show me how you trim.
Marcel, listen to my shirt.
Yeah, no. I am, but no. Like, I want to see how much you bend over to trim.
This much right here.
Your shoulders and neck get sore?
Yeah, mine do, because I trim like that too. I hunch over.
That would kill me, man.
My face got to be right in it. And I'm very. I can be fast, but I can also be very particular.
I thought you got one of those trimmer thingies.
This did go through my trimmer.
You're just making it look pretty. It's called manicuring.
Yeah. I have a question for the both of you.
So there's a difference.
How's the student glass?
That thing, dude.
I don't play with that thing.
Marcel
I only
had
ever
enough
needed
out
to
of
play with it once.
I think I fucking near killed Marcel.
Yes,
I heard. Killed all three of us off of one bowl.
You're supposed to record these things.
Yeah, we should have recorded that.
Did you get the whole package? Did you or just the regular stuff? You didn't get the vaporizer, the module, right?
No. Oh, it's the whole Tyson kit. Whatever comes in the whole Tyson kit.
Yeah. So you didn't get the module. I got.
No, it doesn't have the vaporizer, but it's got the bowl for bud, bowl for concentrate.
I think you know the answer to that question, Gail.
The bowl for your shisha, Marcel.
What?
I like all the little bowls. I've never tried them. I've only used it as a vaporizer.
We only tried one, and it was enough.
Ooh, buddy, it was intense.
Now, I will openly and honestly say the first time I tried mine, I threw up all over the fucking place. Okay,
I can understand where you're coming from, and I'm surprised that none of us threw up.
Oh, dude, it took me 20 minutes to catch my breath, though.
Oh, I know.
All three of us for 20 minutes couldn't breathe.
I wasn't expecting it to. Well, as she said, I didn't expect it to come so quick.
Yeah. Well,
no, it's instant, dude.
And it's not that. It's such the smoke that comes out of it has such a high expansion rate that your lungs can't handle it to begin with. So you're full of freaking lung to begin.
And I fucking near killed myself because it was hash and rosin and weed in it. I didn't realize it until after we smoked it.
So, like I said, I haven't tried all of those attachments. I've only tried the module, and I've tried it with weed because there's 2 cylinders for the module. You get one for concentrates and one for dry stuff. I don't like the dry stuff one because you only get 1 or 2 hauls off of it before it starts tasting really shitty, right?
Yeah.
I think that was our issue.
It wasn't fresh.
The smoke went cold really fast, and that ice cold smoke. Ooh, I like cold smoke, but with a freezer coil. But that was a little intense.
But so you enjoyed it then, or you're enjoying it?
Yeah.
Good. I don't even put water in mine, dude. Look, he left again. He got angry.
Darcy?
He cut his finger while he was trimming, and he left again.
Probably. No, he ends up picking his nose a lot while he's doing that, so he doesn't.
No, my wife was out getting something.
So what? She walks by all the time, dude.
Yeah.
Did she walk by naked?
She might be.
Limping. What'd she do? Stub her toe? Hi,
No.
Carla.
I just saw her, so I know she's not naked.
She looked pretty bundled up, actually, to me. She's in the drawer. What are you getting in the drawer, Carla?
My Hi, Doobie.
Doobie?
Yeah.
Doobie.
She's
Oh,
not
look.
here.
I like how she tries to shrink down so we can see her head.
Sorry. I'm done.
If you don't shrink down, they don't see your head.
She's like,
stay upright and you just see a body go by. That's it.
Hey, you're not Super Mario.
Do.
You didn't lose your life. You didn't have to shrink.
So,
hey, that sounded like my ringtone.
Did you watch Ozzy's induction?
Nope. I seen parts and pieces of it, but I didn't watch it.
No.
Billy Idol closed it. No. Don't do that, Billy. Don't do that again.
Oh, that bad?
Oh, pardon?
Was it that bad?
I can't hear you. Sorry. Somebody's at my door. Excuse me. I'll be right back.
Fucking rude. An asshole.
I didn't enjoy it. No, I mean, if I enjoy a performance, you know it, and if I don't, you don't. And yeah, I really didn't enjoy his part of it.
I saw a video. I got to tell you those before I lose it, because you're talking about performances. I don't know, for some reason, I've been kind of drawn to listening to people do different covers of different songs.
I like covers. Yeah.
Like with what Disturbed did with Sound of Silence was phenomenal. Right? But
yeah, I mean, he's got a very good voice to begin with.
He does. It's amazing. But I saw a link to one, and it said a rock singer performing Whitney Houston's song.
Yes, I think I've seen that.
His name is Eric Gromwell, and he's from Sweden.
Okay.
And this guy was phenomenal, and he does a whole bunch of different ones. Aerosmith, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion. And he's got such a wide vocal range that he can do all of these, go from Whitesnake to Celine Dion.
Well, remember 5 years ago, or even maybe less than that, we were all raving about Teddy Swims, and now look what he's doing and where he is. And we were all raving 5 years ago. We were all raving about what's his name, Jelly Roll. And now look where they're,
Jelly Roll really wasn't doing a whole lot of covers, though, was he?
No. But he came out of nowhere. Well, not really nowhere, but
he came out of jail.
He came out of jail. He got out and he got big, So
well, that's great. I mean, it's not my genre of music.
Mine either. But
I
like
say kudos to the boy. He's done great.
See, the thing with Jelly Roll, though, Marcel, is Jelly Roll can do rap to rock,
everything
to country.
Right, and
I'm not a
in
lot
all
of
honesty,
do that.
any musician should be able to do that.
But
but they don't. They don't.
They don't.
A lot of them can't cross over.
Keith Urban can do a little bit of everything.
I don't think it's that they can't cross over. I think that they're afraid to cross over because they may be stereotyped.
So okay, here's crossing over for
Aaron
you.
Lewis from Stain, for example, amazing singer. He just come out with a new album with Stain. It's an amazing album, but he had 2 country albums, and it never. I don't even think he sold 100,000 albums.
Garth Brooks has gone and done different genres. There's been a few people. What's his name from Hootie and the Blow Shift? Darius Rucker has went from mainstream rock to country, right?
But I think Darius Rucker also started out doing gospel singing, didn't he?
I believe he started out in a church. Yes, a lot of people do. Right?
Yeah, well, especially a lot of the rappers started out doing gospel.
So here's another one for you, something new. Body Count has done a version of Comfortably Numb with Roger Waters and David Gilmour's blessing. In fact, David Gilmour is playing on the album, and because they've just put out a new album, and that was one of the cuts. They just performed it on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and I watched the video, and you know, again, not my genre, but it was very, very well done. Have you seen it?
No, and I'm looking for it now. Who was it? Pink Floyd?
It's Body Count. It's Ice-T's metal band that he raps to. They
which
did
song?
Comfortably Numb with their blessing. I watched it last night. It's not so bad. I'm not going to play it on the show. They'll just block us. So, you know, it sucks. I miss playing music and shit. I really do. That's what I started this whole thing for. Fucking bites.
Well, once my buddy Mike gets back after from touring, he's going to come on the show, and he can give us your blessing on here, and then you can play some of his music, because you'll like his music, Al.
Sure. Bye, lady. You'll be back. Usually she just leaves me alone. She does her own thing, comes, says hi now and then, comes over, lays down. But when I come in here, she bugs. She doesn't like it at all. What do you do? Why are you so quiet, Marcel?
He must be reading.
I'm looking.
You're looking. He's watching porn.
No.
Don't do that.
So are we going to talk about Linalool soon?
Yes.
Well, I didn't really know what to talk about for a grow segment, because I really just didn't know what to talk about, because I really talked about a lot of things so far. So, if there's anything specific that you would like to know about, Al, by all means.
You're hilarious, Darcy. Ooh, I found some big rolling papers. I'm going to roll a gagger.
Hey, you know Walmart sells isopropyl?
Yeah, they do in big containers too.
Yeah, it's 91%. I wouldn't use it to make your oil with.
No.
But you can use it for doing your cleaning utensils and stuff.
What is the minimum on the for making oil? Like 98, 99?
99. I would stick with 99. Although really all it's in this is 91% isopropyl alcohol by volume, by weight, and the other 9% is purified water.
They don't seem to carry the 99%. They've got 78%.
Yeah, it's a weird number.
78% is rubbing alcohol.
The dollar store actually carries the 99% now, and it's not denatured either.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. We also got to make sure that people that are listening realize that we're talking about Canadian isopropyl.
Yes.
Because isopropyl in the U.S. is next to impossible to get.
Is it illegal in the States?
Unless it's denatured.
And what's the difference? They don't put it out in nature?
Well, no,
you don't go outside. You have to stay inside.
No, it has an additive to it to make it a poison, so people won't drink it.
Okay, I get it.
So you got to remember, back in the '60s, your owner's manual of your vehicle told you how to gap your spark plugs and set your timing. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, in the owner's manual now, it tells you not to drink the contents of the battery.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't, because you shouldn't be that fucking stupid.
Yeah,
well, have to read that.
It should be eating fucking Tide Pods either, buddy.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's because kids are. Don't even get me going on that now, Al, because I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Me and Marcel have these talks all the time about this.
Did you have your Tide Pod today?
You know what? Hey, kids nowadays, don't be a cocksucker.
No, don't be a dumb fuck.
Yeah, I got another shirt in the bedroom that says you're about as useless as a white fucking crayon.
Here's the way I look at it. I'm old. I'm not going to live much longer anyway, so I don't really care.
Well, don't say that, because I'm going to have to find a new co-host, for fuck's sake.
No, but hear me out. I can tell you right now that seeing what's coming, the future's doomed.
That's why I moved up into bumfuck nowhere, buddy.
Yeah, they'll come up there too, though, eventually.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
Stupid seems to Al. Stupid seems to find every corner.
Not my corner.
Not my corner. Yeah.
I already have stupid in my corner.
It's just I don't understand it. I mean, I was talking to a 91-year-old fella the other day at the mall, and he had a Trump hat on, and he was the biggest Trump supporter I think I ever met. And he seemed to think that Trump's going to fix Canada.
Yeah. Not a conversation I'm even wanting to have, buddy.
Oh, I understand, but it was just
Canada might get fixed on Monday.
Why are they going to fire somebody?
Oh, is any luck?
Oh, are you serious? Are they gonna go for it?
Well, they have a non-confidence vote on Monday.
But are they going to impeach?
It's not a matter of impeachment. The non-confidence vote basically means that none of the parties or the majority of the House don't want him there anymore.
Yeah.
So he's got members in his own party that don't want him there, but they're too afraid to vote that way.
So there's a vote this week.
There's a vote Monday.
Okay.
That's
And
Robbie.
then we'll know when there's an election. I mean, obviously there's going to be an election.
Yeah, I would imagine it'd be within 3 to 4 months. A spring election.
And then we got to go through this again.
Well, Al, you got to remember, you got an NDP government that does not want them to interfere in the mail strike. Now you have the public, some of the public, wanting the government to interfere in the mail strike so we can get our mail back rolling. But they don't want them to interfere. So if they interfere, then they say they're going to cross the floor with the Conservatives in the bloc. So then there's your vote of non-confidence right there.
There you go. There's a good angle for you, Darcy.
Okay, I got to point something out. One thing that I learned a long, long time ago is I don't send fucking packages through Canada Post anytime after October.
Yeah,
and the reason being is every time Canada Post goes on strike, they do it just before Christmas because that's when it's going to piss the people off the most. So I learned a long time ago not to use Canada Post from October to February. Ever.
Well, I'll tell you, Pure Later is so overwhelmed. What used to take 3 days and what takes 3 days through Canada Post took 6.
Oh, yeah.
7 days. Yeah. So, I mean, they're probably very, I mean, there's lots of different alternatives, but I would think most people would use Pure Later because FedEx is in the States, but they're here too. Right. But even on Pure Later's website, it says that there is an overwhelming demand for deliveries right now, and they are slower than usual.
But we've got FedEx, we've got Pure Later, we've got DHL.
Canpar.
Canpar. I don't know if we still have Loomis. Is Canpar and Loomis still around?
I don't know. Loomis,
yes, they are.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they are, Marcel. And then you got Uni.
Yeah, Uni is another new one.
Yeah. There's a couple new ones. I've been seeing them pop up.
Why not?
We're limited in what we have here. We've got FedEx, we've got Pure Later and Canada Post, basically, and then some couriers. Dead air.
Darcy's fault.
No, it's not. I'm picking up a holy fucking I can't wait to get my key box. Oh boy, that's yummy.
So is that all dried and everything?
Oh, this is super fine keef, and I'm gonna take a picture and I'll show you how much keef's in this pile. I bet you there's
and then you're gonna squish that?
No, I'm gonna snort it all out right now.
Okay.
Dare ya? Fucking dare ya?
No,
come on, dare ya? Do it on screen right now. I mean, this video will go viral, dude.
One of my good buddies, actually he's still a good friend of mine out home, when he was 21, Yeah, because he's 2 years older than me. Yeah, when he was 21, we were at his house, and we were smoking fucking oil through this straw thing, man. We were, and they had a line of crystal on the table because they were rolling joints. And he goes, "I'll snort that." Well, when he snorted it, I'm telling you, man, he dropped right to the floor and he grabbed his head so hard, man. I bet you the pain was just intense. I could see it on his face.
Yeah, Darcy, you should watch this later. That was fucking perfect.
I don't even want to know.
Oh, you hurting me, Al. Fuck, man, I
I'm
smoked too
sorry.
much. Fucking
I apologize for making you laugh.
Oh man, ow. No.
Okay,
Snorting,
Marcel
snorting-
needs a minute, so we're gonna do this, and we'll be right back.
This is how I grow the weed.
I just wanted to give Marcel a second.
We ain't growing, but we ain't growing any weed today, but we're trimming.
Dale's enjoying himself.
Are you all right, Marcel?
Oh, that damn near killed me, man.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Good.
You ready to talk about linalool yet?
Oh, I can't even say the word now.
Linalool.
Hang on, I gotta get a drink here.
Linalool.
Get a drink and just add more to it. Oh. Yeah, if you put that fucking fake news thing up on me, I'm gonna smack you. When I'm talking about your linalool. All right. So the question is,
I'm trying to take that seriously because we've got the big book for one, and we've got the big brain there, and we need some information. So
okay, well, there'll be a test because there is a test at the end of this section in the book. All right?
Okay, all right.
All right.
I noticed that. I looked at that. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I love tests.
Hey, yeah, no, Darcy.
Darcy, this is your grow segment. What are you turning your camera off for?
No, I'm good now.
All right. So, Al posed the question about linalool and epilepsy.
Yes.
Okay, 1 second though. If it's my grow segment, then why are you talking about linalool?
Because you said you didn't have anything to talk about, you beanhead.
Okay, understandable. Go ahead, Marcel.
So we're talking grows. This is your grow segment. Unless you would like to talk about
He usually
linalool.
takes over your grow segment anyways, Darcy.
No. Wait, would you rather talk about linalool, Darcy?
Now he's not talking because he muted himself.
Actually, I did do a PowerPoint presentation for Turo Cannabis.
Well, that's what I mean. I know this. I know
Oh,
that you know these
okay.
terpenes. So that
I did. Now, mind you, it's been 4 years since I looked at that. So you know the whole thing when you
Do you have a copy of that we could watch one day?
I do actually, Al. It's on my old computer. I'll see if I can get it.
All right, send it to me. We'll watch it next week.
Yeah, I did one on pests too, like all your pests and on what
Dale says every time we say linalool, the caption says Linda Lou.
Does it really?
Yes.
Okay. It's LIN ALOOL.
This segment is going to be about you, Linda Lou.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Linda Lou is such a hard word to actually say. But so I'll just get into this. And then I'd like to see Darcy's on Linda Lou, but I don't think his is going to be the same as what this one is. The question that was posed was linalool for epilepsy.
Yes.
So of course I got my big book on linalool, but it doesn't talk anything about epilepsy.
Okay.
So I used my little AI buddy to do a quick search for me, and what it's found is linalool has an anticonvulsive properties and may help with epilepsy. So it's been shown to inhibit N-methyl D-aspartate or MMDA-induced convulsions and quinoloic acid, quin-induced convulsions, and it also delays behavior of expression of PTZ kindling. Linalool is everywhere. Like it isn't. Well, I'm going to read off a few of them, but there's 141 different ones that I've got on the list. But
Wow.
it is most prominently found in cinnamon. Right? Linalool is a terpene that it's a monoterpene that the majority of it's found in broadleaf plants, right? In the broadleaf itself is where you get the majority of your linalool. So what they found is that up to 92% of the essential oils in cinnamon leaves is linalool. So every time you use cinnamon, you're getting linalool, as well as a lot of these other ones.
And that's the substance with the most prominent amounts. Yes?
Yeah, cinnamon's is the one that has the highest amounts, but lavender, clove, dill.
That's the one Kelly has mentioned, lavender. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the most common one, I guess, right? Other than cinnamon.
Right. So a lot of these are in a lot of different essential oils, right? So if you buy sage essential oil, it's got linalool in it. Right? Rosemary, camphor, eucalyptus, cedar, fennel. Those ones stay away from because they can actually cause seizures to happen.
Oh, okay.
But lemongrass, lavender, clove, dill. Other things that have it that I didn't realize was apples. Apples actually have linalool. Allspice, anise, corn, cranberries, basil, black pepper, blood oranges, blueberries. So like,
okay, now hold on. Black
vegetables
pepper,
that have no relationship to each other all have linalool.
black pepper is known for stopping sneezing fits.
Yeah, black pepper can stop sneezing fits. Black pepper will also help reduce and alleviate anxiety attacks. Like if
But
you're
it'll
having,
also cause sneezing.
yeah, if you snort it into your nostrils,
Yes.
right? But there's a lot of people that will make like little beanie babies, but they're filled with black pepper or black peppercorns, whole peppercorns. And if they start feeling any anxiety, they just sniff it.
My mom used to make them with oranges.
Yeah. What else?
People do that at Christmas time too, for ornaments. Do they not?
Oh yeah, some people do it.
Yeah.
Cilantro, chamomile, cherries, cinnamon,
Cherries, really?
Cherries, coriander.
Chocolate?
Yeah, cacao bean seeds.
Okay, so how about oh God, yeah, chocolate cherries.
Well, if it's made with cacao butter, then yeah.
Ooh.
Cacao,
cinnamon, as in moo.
Dill, fennel.
Cacao is from a French cow, moo.
Garlic, grapes, grapefruit.
That was funny.
Lavender, lime, mace, mandarin.
Mace, really?
Mace, nutmeg, oranges, oregano, parsleys and peaches, pineapples and plums.
Where are you getting this list from?
From the book.
Oh, okay.
Tea tree oil, lang lang, wormwood.
Lang lang, I've heard of that before.
That's a unique essential oil.
I've heard of
spearmint,
that.
strawberries. I mean, it's in a lot of different things, right?
And cannabis.
And cannabis. Cannabis is there, but I've actually got a list of strains out of the book that are actually high in linalool.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah, but also to make note.
But that's for the next half hour.
Yeah. Also, to kind of make note of this is that up to 9% of the population could be allergic to linalool.
So that's pretty high, actually.
It is on the higher side. I mean, it's not as high as say peanuts or something, but it's kind of up there.
So you should, if you're going to start using something with linalool for a specific purpose, you should make sure that you're not allergic to it, like you would with peanuts, right?
Say it again.
You need to make sure that you're not allergic to the things that you're using.
You always do, but it's like the U.S. ads for pharmaceuticals that we get on our TVs here all the time. And they'll always say, do not use such and such if you're allergic to it.
Yeah, like I'm not supposed to have anything grapefruit related with the stuff that I take.
Right, but that's not an allergy. That's because the grapefruit makes your medicine stop working.
Okay.
Right? But they say if this wonderful drug Calexia is on the market, it does this, and then it says may cause yada yada yada, including death, whatever. And then it says if you're allergic to Calexia, don't take it. Right? So the only way you would know if you were allergic to it
is if you took it.
Is to take it and find out.
Yes.
Right? I found out I was allergic to methotrexate. How did I find out? I got an injection of methotrexate. The next day I was at the hospital getting Benadryl and shit so I could walk because the hives started at my feet. And that kind of pissed me off.
Yeah.
But you don't know you don't know until you try it, right? So if you try it and you start breaking out, then you're allergic. Don't do it again. Have a Benadryl. If you take it and all of a sudden your throat starts to close up and you can't breathe, get to the fucking hospital and get an EpiPen into you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
then you'll know. Don't take that one again ever.
Yeah.
Right? But chances are of it being linalool aren't that high. Right? But a cool thing about linalool is because it's a monoterpene, it's considered bitter and considered as an anti-fedant, right? Which means aphids and those little bugs that like to eat your leaves don't because of the linalool. And it actually deters cotton bollworms from depositing eggs on plants. So it's acting as a pesticide for the plant naturally.
You were saying before we started the show, you said that you were kind of surprised to find out that it was something that can get rid of lice very quickly.
Yeah, we'll get to those ones.
Okay.
Right? For the health benefits. But if somebody's growing outdoors and has a problem with aphids, then they should be looking at strains with high linalool.
Really?
Rosemary. Grow rosemary in amongst your plants, like not in with your plants, but grow them in pots around your plants.
Yeah, well, wait till I list the strains that are high in linalool that you might like to grow, Darcy.
Well, you want to know one I can tell you one right now that's high in linalool. Huh. You should have about a pound or two of it.
Say it again. That has high in linalool?
Your purple satellite is, Marcel.
Oh, probably we'll find out in a minute.
Well, no, it is. I can show you a lab test with it.
Okay. Whoa. I need to freshen my drink.
plants. There's a number of plants that don't like linalool and
Was
won't grow
cannabis
near.
in there?
Well, no, because here's what it says. For outdoor cannabis growers, the development of strains that are high in linalool or localized treatments on plants using linalool, so using linalool essential oil spray, right, may be an effective and natural method of controlling weeds for your outdoor grow. So, linalool spray. It's nematidoside, mountain birch, don't worry about those. Nothing to do with cannabis. It's antibacterial. Which actually, what do I hear buzzing? Where's Darcy?
That was me, Marcel. You just talk.
You're doing the buzzing. Okay. All right. Uses in industry. Who cares? It's used mostly in perfumes, but it has potential uses in medicine. Where are we? Antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, treatment in neurodegenerative diseases, treatment for carpal tunnel syndrome, treatment of liver, lung cancer, treatment of colon cancer. It has anti-cancer abilities. Dale's asking a question. Does it have oaxacan or Napoli? I'll have to wait till we get to there, Dale. Also helps in prevention of mosquito-borne illnesses. What else? It's an antifungal agent. This one I found interesting. Treatment for lice. So, school's in, lice is out, everything's normal. But malathion resistant or permethrin resistant strains of human head lice appear to be no match for linalool, which exhibited toxic fumigated activity against adults and inhibited egg hatching by 100% within 24 hours. So just that terpene will kill head lice and all of their eggs in one treatment, which is a little better than the crap they sell you in the drugstore. Also treatment for Alzheimer's disease.
Really?
Yeah. But using it, dietary consumption of linalool should be easy for most people considering the wide variety of fruit, vegetables, spices that contain linalool, right? You can make a salad and it's basically a linalool salad that would be delicious.
I think that one of the things that Cheryl is doing is making using it in microgreens.
Marcel, purple satellite is 0.63.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 60. What to say here? Read that again. 6.3 milligrams per gram.
All right. Well,
Dale says you should post that profile, bud.
I will. Holy, there's some high ones in that fucking purple satellite, eh?
You can put it right in our private one, and then I'll copy it and put it in the thing if you like. Or can you see the comments and post in there? Darcy?
Yeah, I can post it in there.
Okay.
Fuck, that's pretty good. Total terpene profile is 42 milligrams per gram.
Now, is that high?
Yeah, 4.12% terpene profile in that flower.
It's not on my list, but my list was done in 2002.
That purple satellite, Dale, you got it. You got a winner with that one, dude.
All right, let me get back to where I was. Darcy, shut up.
Sorry, Marcel. I just hijacked your
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Get back.
So there's 24 fruits that contain significant amounts. Apples, apricots, black currants, blood oranges, blueberries, cherries, cranberries, figs, grapes, grapefruit, guava, lemon, limes, mandarins, nectarines, oranges, papaya, peaches, pineapple,
Bill
plums,
says that he
strawberries,
used vegetable oil for girls.
yuzu. Vegetables that are high in linalool include carrots, celery, corn, and tomatoes. Figs are on that list, but I guess they're considered a fruit, but they're not vegan.
I like figs. They're like giant raisins.
Yeah, but you're not vegan, so you don't care.
No.
Only the vegans care.
Yeah.
That's why fig Newtons are not listed as vegan.
Okay. Because they're not.
No. Because they had
So
meat
says
in
the
them.
vegans.
Well, they have meat in them.
God, if I have to give up meat at any time in my life, please just take me out to the pasture with the cows.
Right. So, when cooking, consider spices like allspice, anise, basil, lemon, or black pepper, cilantro, cinnamon, cloves, coriander, dill, fennel, garlic, ginger, jasmine, lemongrass, mint, oregano, parsley, rosemary, saffron, sage, and turmeric. There, I had my linalool tonight already in my supper. Which all contain linalool and a number of other beneficial terpenes and flavonoids. And that's the thing, is a lot of the spices that you get have the terpenes already, right? So terpenes are great. We've been talking about this, that it's got these properties, antifungal and anything else, but they also act in other ways by activating the CB1 and CB2 receptors to make them more absorbent for the cannabinoids such as THC, CBD, CBN, CBG, etc. Right?
So it helps with the absorption in layman's terms.
Yeah. So cannabis strains that have moderate to high concentration include Amnesia Haze, Biker OG, Girl Scout Cookies, Island Squeak Skunk, King Tut, LA Confidential, Lavender, Master Kush, Miss X, Obama Kush, OG Shark, Pink Kush, Purple Punch, Sour Kush, and Star Pie. Juicing, blending, or eating these strains raw is an excellent, healthy way to unlock some of the nutritional and other value of linalool and other
But none of those strains really are ones that we really know.
What?
I've only heard of one of those strains that you said.
Get the fuck out.
No.
You've heard of Amnesia?
Yes. Okay.
Amnesia Haze, high sativa. All right.
Yes.
Sativa.
Okay. Yes, I have. But there was one other one that you said.
Biker OG, probably not. Girl Scout Cookies, you have.
Yes.
Biker OG, yeah. You haven't ever heard of that, Al?
No.
Wow.
Al probably hasn't heard of Biker OG, but Girl Scout Cookies he has. Island Squeak Skunk, I hope you've heard of that.
It rings a bell, but I don't think I've ever tried it.
Island Squeak Skunk, it's been around for 30 years.
Okay.
Yep, it's an old school strain. King Tut,
I've probably had it.
King Tut, probably not. LA Confidential, another.
Yeah, I've had that. Yeah.
Older school strain.
So yeah, I have heard of a few.
Lavender, just the name alone would make me not try it.
I think I've tried it though.
Master Kush.
Yeah, I've had that too. So I have tried some of those.
Miss X, I doubt that you've tried that. Obama Kush, probably not, but I mean it's still a Kush. OG Shark, yeah, you probably haven't had.
Don't think so.
I know you've had Pink Kush because I gave you some.
Oh well, yeah, I mean I've had many different kinds of Pink Kush.
Purple Punch. I don't know if you've had. I know you've had Purple Punch in other strains.
Probably yes.
Sour Kush.
Yes, I've had that. That's from a diesel, isn't it?
Yeah, Sour Diesel and
Kush.
I think OG or OG Kush. And then Star Pie, probably not. But juicing, blending, or eating these strains is an excellent way to unlock the terpenes. Smoking or vaporizing cannabis is not as effective a method of consumption, and in fact, we do not recommend this type of cannabis consumption. Instead,
Really?
careful experimentation with essential oils may be a better, healthier option. If you want the terpenes, they're volatile terpene. They burn very quickly, right?
Okay.
So if you're
That makes
smoking
sense
it,
that smoking it wouldn't be your best bet.
right? So you say, "Oh, I'm going to grow nothing but a whole crop of Girl Scout cookies and smoke it all, so I can get all the terpenes, all the linalool." It's not going to happen, right?
No, it doesn't sound like it. No.
So, now where do we go? So, anti-cancer, it's got a lot of therapeutic benefits, but again, this is something that is better used eaten.
So it's better for an edible. Okay.
Yeah, if you want to, you can actually turn around and make an edible using a cannabis strain of that's high in linalool to begin with,
Uh-huh.
and
then
make
add some,
and then add high linalool content products, right? So cinnamon, nutmeg, things like that.
make a cherry pie or
make an apple pie, do something,
Yeah.
and add that into it with the cannabis at the same time.
Damn! I wish I had some stuff to bake right now. I saw a recipe for little tiny, it's like a little tiny apple or a cherry pies, like this big, right?
So the aroma of linalool is like on its own is so unique that the primary commercial use for it is what?
I know this answer, but I can't think at the moment because I'm smoking linalool.
Well, its primary commercial use is for products like perfume and hair care.
In hair care,
right? So,
and that makes sense because your hair follicles it absorbs.
Nothing to do with that.
No,
nothing to do with that at all. All it's being used for is scent, right? So it's got a different kind of a smell. Everybody that smells linalool smells something different.
Really?
Right?
Get the fuck out of here.
Well, no. For some people, it might smell like roses. For somebody else, it might smell like lavender.
You know that, and that makes sense because there's some flowers that people love, lilies and that, right? That people love the odor of them, and all I smell is piss.
Right. So everybody smells slightly differently. So linalool is one of those compounds that it smells different, right?
For everybody.
And for everybody, it even has a different taste, right? So it could be a woody flavor for some, but tropical for others.
Well, you know what, and the same goes for different strains of cannabis itself, right?
Right.
So it would be safe to say that linalool, specifically as a terpene, is patient specific.
Everything is patient. Everything is
person specific in this case.
Everything is person specific. Even the amount of cannabis that they require.
Yes, that was kind of my point, right?
Yeah, everybody's different. So the amount of terpenes that you need to achieve the results that you want are.
But would a terpene, for instance, react differently to somebody with ADHD like myself? Because there are many sativas out there that would punch somebody in the head and make them run around a track, and they act like a down for me. right? Because when I take an amphetamine like Ritalin or Dexedrine, I calm down. When I have a coffee, or I don't drink coffee, but when I have a tea, it calms me down. Where some people would be like, "Ah, la, 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 I can't sleep, I can't sleep." You know, like there, is that because of my chemical makeup is different?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just wired different. Everybody's wired different. Nobody's wired the
So
same.
that's why I'm always pushing the patient and strain specific.
Right. This is why in healthcare normal is a range, right?
Yes.
So your normal blood pressure should be in a range, right? So there's a range of what your blood pressure should be. It's not your blood pressure should be 70 over 120,
I
right?
get it. Yep.
You actually have a range on either side because everybody is different. But for the majority, they all fall within that range.
This number and that number, yeah.
Right. So when it comes to how a terpene reacts, it should be within a range, right? It shouldn't have high extremes where where it's helping people that as an anticonvulsant, so it's helping prevent seizures, is very unlikely that it's going to cause seizures in somebody else.
Do you see what Buddy said?
Yeah. That actually sounds cool. So the whiteberry plant I have smells like rotten meat and dead animals late in flower, but when I smoke it, it tastes like strawberries.
Yeah. That's cool.
That is cool. So as for helping with your ADHD, I don't know, because I've never really looked at ADHD that hard.
The next,
no.
Were you here when Lori and I know Lori was here. We had Dr. David Behrman, who is a specialist in ADHD in adults.
Yeah.
Were you here for that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. That sucks because that was a good one.
Because I would have had my question answered then.
Yes.
About what causes ADHD.
Nobody knows. And the guy who came up with ADHD just before he died said he was lying.
So he doesn't know what attention deficit.
He didn't know either.
All right. So
I honestly think you have city kids and country kids. Kids that have ADHD, kick them in the country.
This is true because people that live.
I had ADHD and I lived in the country and I turned out fine.
Well,
you never get rid of it, my friend.
Oh no, I like I said, but I turned out fine.
No, but we didn't have a whole lot of ADHD when I was a kid, right?
Yeah, back then it was called hyperactivity syndrome, I believe.
We just said the kid had a lot of energy and that was it. And the teachers learned to cope with it and figure out ways to, keep the kid
the teachers
involved.
cope with it by having ADHD or by having special classes, special needs classes for people, because there is most people with bad ADHD are also very dyslexic, and there is a total different way of learning and teaching. The learning part is my part, and it's been very difficult because the comprehension and the absorption isn't there. So where you can sit down and read that manual page by page, I'd have to read each page 2 or 3 times in order to get any gist of it at all. Right? So there is a really big difference in the way you're learning as well as your absorption of drugs.
Right.
Drugs are good for you.
Right. So it's a matter of is ADHD a chemical imbalance, or is it something that's been brought on environmentally?
Environment. You know, they say that they're learning that Parkinson's is environmental.
Okay, so when I say environmental, and I don't mean just the air, weather.
No,
Yeah.
it is what's going on around you. I get that. Your
Right,
whole everything going on.
It's the air, it's the water, it's
For instance,
everything
I'll
that.
give you an
But
example.
it's also blue screens,
Yes.
right? On your phone, your tablet, your computers, your televisions. All of that is affecting you. And it's
Yes.
affecting you, of course, it's affecting you negatively
Well,
because
you
it's
know, I
not
mean,
natural.
the health feelings that I had, the feelings that I had during my childhood, running around, playing like a fucking nut bar, blah, 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 going to gym and swimming a lot and playing a lot of tennis and riding my bike all over the fucking city. That stopped when I went off the medication because my own brain was doing it differently, right?
You stopped going out and having fun when you stopped the medication?
Yeah, I became more of a recluse and stayed home a lot more and stuff like that. Yeah.
And that was after you stopped the medication?
After I stopped Ritalin and Dexedrine, yeah.
And what were you doing in place of it?
Sitting at home drinking beer, smoking pot.
Well, that's why you were just fucking high and lazy.
Probably.
Yeah.
No. But
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm getting at is my whole as a teenager, I was out and doing stuff. And my whole thought process at 17 or even 20 is much different than at 61. And a lot of that is because of learning, right?
Right. But I mean, I have big problems. Well, to me, I'd rather understand more where ADHD comes from and try and stop that, only because of what I've seen Ritalin do.
I believe most studies focus on the fact that it is a chemical imbalance, serotonin related. Too much or too little, I don't know, but it's serotonin related.
Okay, so I used to have a neighbor, and they had adopted a baby from basically a drug addict, alcoholic type one that couldn't take care of the kids. So he was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. So he had a rough go to begin with. By the time he was 6, he was I love the kid because he had so much energy. It was always go with him, right? And I mean, it was my neighbor, so I got to see him every friggin' day. And he always had this energy about him. The school didn't like it because he had too much energy.
Yeah, and you know, I've said this before. I've had a lifetime of shh, and that.
Well,
when you have to deal with that much control, when you're out and about with your parents, and it's something that changes the way you do things. It really does. I mean, I spent a lot of time being shushed because I would break out into a party when you're supposed to be quiet and somber. You know, I mean, it's like my head doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Right.
This kid.
I'll give you an example.
Went from
when my sister and I went and looked at caskets for my mom. Okay. There was music on the speakers in the room, and it was just me and my sister. I'm sure there was cameras, but I was like dancing while I was looking at caskets because that's the way I deal with stressful things. I like to have fun and be cheery. Blah 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 blah. Right.
That's also why they play the music.
But most normal people wouldn't be dancing in a casket room choosing a casket for their mother, is what I'm getting at.
Okay, so do you remember we going back to there's no such thing as fucking normal.
No, of course not.
Everybody is different, all right? So when people say, well, you should act normal, well, you can't define normal, so why?
There's I got in a little trouble many years ago with the law, and my mom jumped in and explained who I was, what I was about, and talked the officer into not charging me.
Nice.
Okay. Because he was sympathetic. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't, yeah, but anyways, it's just moms do things, right?
But with this little kid, I watched him go from a literal ball of energy
To
a
nothing.
walking zombie.
Yeah. I've had friends that I grew up with that ended up like that, and it's sad. I've lost a few people.
I was in a doctor's office waiting room one time. This was years ago, and in the waiting room, it was for a couple of different doctors, so they had a lot of people in the waiting room. Like, it was kind of a shared waiting room, and there was a mother in there with her kid that was probably about 4 years old, and the kid was a little ball of energy. And he was just go, play with the toys, run back to his mother, play with the toys, run back to the mother. And he started spinning around in the middle of the floor, like little boys do. And his mother's trying to stop him and control him, saying, like, you're disturbing other people. And I was sitting right across from her. So he's like right in between us. And I said, it's not disturbing me at all. I said, I actually enjoy watching it. I said, he's expelling a lot of energy.
Yeah. And she was feeling it, but nobody else was.
Yeah. Like, she knew that it was good for him, but she figured everybody else would be upset. And I wouldn't give a fuck. If somebody was upset, then I'd say something to somebody else, because I'd rather see a kid have fun. If a kid wants to spin around until he gets dizzy and fall down and laugh, I'm all for it, right? Because I think that is awesome way for that kid to, one, expel energy, two, get exercise that they don't fucking get.
And three, right? It's called being a kid.
Right. And three,
kids don't do what we used to do, though. They don't do how we used to do. I mean, at 4, 5, 6, we were out running around like crazy kids in the park, no parents around, just having fun. And we knew that when the lights came on, you got to be home.
So I'm going to let you in on another little secret. Many years ago, I lived in a military base, and my ex-wife used to do home care, other people's kids, the military people's kids. Right?
Okay.
And one of the kids she babysat, I got home 30 minutes. I was off work 30 minutes before this kid's father, right? So I kind of worked with him once in a while. So I'd get home and I'd sit down, and for 30 minutes, I would have to help his kid do his homework because his kid was dyslexic. And I mean, he was really bad dyslexic. So we would work on numbers and letters for 30 minutes.
Yep.
And just to get him understanding numbers and math. Meanwhile, his father is at work telling everybody how smart his son is. Right? After I've been teaching his son how to read and write, or read and recognize numbers.
Reading and arithmetic.
Arithmetic. Yeah. But his father says his son is so smart because he can program the VCR. Right? Because he's 6. Okay, so right away that tells me, okay, the kid is a little more than just dyslexic, right? He's probably got a little spectrum in there as well, but He's more mechanically inclined than he is for reading and writing, so which falls in line with his dyslexia. Al,
Yeah. What? Huh?
right? See, so the everybody has their own learning disability. There's nobody out there can say that they're perfect.
Ooh.
When it comes to anything, I mean, I can tell people I'm a perfect asshole, but I know I could be better, right? I mean, I'm a pretty good asshole, but I know I could be better. So I'm not a perfect asshole. Nobody's perfect. Everybody gets high. Look at Darcy. He's baked. He can't even turn on his mic.
I can.
Same to you, buddy.
I can't.
Long
Smoke
rip.
them if you got them.
All right. So what's next topic?
What are you smoking?
Are you looking for non-stop, continuous cannabis and psychedelic programming? If you are, then turn your browsers to 420radio.ca or paceradio.net, where you will find the 420 Pace Re-Rolled Saturday. Everything gets started at 8 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning.
Al sounds really high doing that.
I want to try this white berry plant.
White berry plant. This is yeah.
It smells like rotten meat and dead animals.
Marcel smells like rotten meat and dead animals. Yeah.
That'd be a good way to annoy your neighbor if you lived in a building.
I don't care where you live. I mean, I could grow that in my backyard. I could have that smell. Nobody's going to steal your plants if it smells like
but the bears
fucking
would want it.
slaughtering people.
The bears would want it. They would come in. There's meat. They'd come and smoke all my fucking weed on me.
That's your bears.
Yeah.
You got Ontario bears. They're different than Nova Scotia bears.
Yeah, we don't get a whole lot in our yards here. We get, I think, in the last 15 years, we've had one bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have regular bears, as you know.
I have deer probably daily.
I'm hoping one day a moose walks through in the winter, because I've seen two moose since I've been here. One when I was coming up with David, and then one when Sharon was here. My sister was here.
You know, if you get a calf, like if you get a young calf,
they'll come back.
You can domesticate it.
It was same with the deer.
For years, the loggers used moose in the woods to haul the logs out.
Like instead of horses.
Yeah, because they're built for the woods and built for the snow. And in the wintertime, they would just use moose.
Easy to feed. You can feed them spruce trees. And fir trees.
Yep. A moose, a domesticated moose is the ultimate farm animal. Right? Or a woodlot animal.
They don't come into town very often, but I've heard that they have been seen wandering around. And the one I saw on the highway was literally just on the other side of the bridge there coming into town. So there's a bridge on each entrance of town. So they don't really go across the bridge, I guess. I don't know. When I run into one, I'll have that conversation.
Yeah, try not to run into one. I'll tell you, I've seen so many moose on the highways, especially in New Brunswick along the rivers. And one morning, it's probably 2:00 in the morning when I was heading back home. As I'm coming down the hill, just as I passed it, I caught a glimpse of the head of the moose standing on the side of the road. And up until then, I couldn't see it at all. It wasn't until I was like literally right on top of it and he was standing on the shoulder.
What is this Dale says?
Woman in New Brunswick shot a record-breaking moose with a compound bow, and it is a massive moose.
Wow. I guess you guys saw the pictures, eh?
Mm.
Oh, here's something here. Somebody just posted on Facebook. Fabrice Bacon Breeze. For people who like bacon. Bacon lovers. Bacon flavored Febreze. I don't think so.
What?
Yeah.
No, what?
Yeah.
No.
Flavored. Yeah, I'm gonna post it. There, I posted it. Here, I'll bring it
Yeah,
up.
okay.
1 second. Here. Here we are, right here, right here, right here.
I like the way you said that. What?
Yeah.
There you go.
Bacon
That's
flavored
right.
Febreze.
Guess right.
The purpose of a meme is to disturb the humorless and to humor the disturbed.
Huh.
As a wise monkey. Where am I here? I'll get back to my.
Have you seen the show Goliath?
I know the story
Billy
Goliath.
Bob Thornton.
Oh, no. Now I get to wait. I'm reading. Buddy's talking to me.
Okay.
It's a really rotten smelling plant in flower, and I was really looking
Well,
forward
put it
to
up on the
strong
screen, Bonehead. You'll be able to read it faster.
umami flavor and got a little surprised when I tasted strawberry.
That's a conversation we were having at 8:21. That was 20 minutes ago. Come on, buddy. Catch up.
It's a time lag. It took him a long time to type that on his phone, you know.
Probably, yeah, you're right.
He might be like our age, so that means it takes him longer to type on his phone.
Now he's going to leave.
Yeah, you hurt his feeling.
How's the trimming going there, Quad?
Good.
Quads.
Well.
Oh, Darcy, I saw one today. A video, and I was going to send it to you, but I can't talk you into the boxing. But can I talk you into quadriplegic jousting?
Yeah, sure. On horses?
No, on wheelchairs.
Oh my God.
And they give them swords, foam swords, and let them beat each other. It was hilarious. But I'm trying to get Darcy to get into wheelchair boxing, which is an up and coming sport. I think he'd be awesome at it. I would like to drive him. Right?
I would like
because
to
you get a driver. And then I would literally just drive him right into the guy so he could
Jesus
just throw
fucking
some
Christ, Marcel, I'm not fucking
haymakers.
Just hold your arm out like this and push him.
We'll strap you into the chair with bungee cords so you get a little bit of play when I stop. Give you a little more power to the punch.
I do get a lot of mobility, you know. I'm not Timmy.
That's what I'm going to start calling you, is Timmy. Timmy!
Blue blood, yeah. Gotta forget. You remember, Lords of the Underworld. That was a good episode.
Yep. I think you'd be good at the wheelchair boxing. We just got to find some people to spar with and then beat up. I mean, fight with.
Beat up. I mean,
not calling beat it. Yeah, you can't call it beating up.
You can't call it beat it up. We'll promote once you get 2 or 3 fights. We'll challenge Jake Paul.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll want to beat me up, but I'll take his $20 million.
Yeah, no. The idea would be you hit him.
Yeah, but
he's going to be in a wheelchair.
But he won't want to lose, so then I'll have to lose. So, because to be honest with you, that whole Tyson fight,
he's not giving you $20 million.
Hey, he gave Tyson $20 million.
There you go. Here we go.
You think you're worth Tyson?
He gave Tyson
them 3 weeks to finally say something.
No. He didn't give Tyson $20 million. Tyson gave him $40 million. Right? He didn't give Tyson anything. Tyson gave it to him. That's the only way that works.
No, Jake Paul got more money.
Exactly. But he only got it because Tyson gave it to him.
True enough.
Right? If Tyson wanted that money, or no, if that fight had been written somewhat even close to what would be normal fair rulings, then Tyson would have just creamed him and taken the money and walked away.
He almost did at the beginning.
But Tyson wasn't going to get any money if he did that.
No. So
Right?
he
The
did.
only way
You could, before he started getting winded, and he did, you could see it. You could see that second round, he could have knocked him out, and he didn't. He stopped himself.
Hey, I shared the script of that fight.
Yeah,
with you
but it
guys
was
the night
not. I
before
looked at
happened.
it. It was nothing. Not even close.
It was close, and it
No.
still ended the same way, in a draw with him winning.
Yeah.
And that was the only way Tyson was going to get paid.
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, do I blame Tyson for taking the money? No, not at all. I mean, most smart people would do it. Am I upset that
George
they did
Foreman
it with?
did it.
Am I upset that they did it with professional boxing? Yes, because they
George Foreman
basically
did it, and nobody said anything.
they scripted a match just like the WWE.
Yes.
All right.
Sure looked that way, didn't it?
Yeah. So they basically turned professional boxing into the WWE in one night.
And in 2024, you would expect anything different?
No, not from the fucking generations that are
You
up
know,
and coming.
if it was, let's just back up for a minute. Before football, before any other professional sports, the WWF, as they were called back then, was responsible for introducing pay-per-view. Okay.
Yeah.
They started doing it in stadiums first. Then they went to television. Now they're doing it on Netflix, and they're doing hockey on Netflix, and they're doing boxing, and they're even going to do UFC shit, right?
Yeah, hockey's on. You can't watch any hockey games on Monday night anymore unless you have Prime.
I see lots of hockey and lots of other sports shit on Prime.
Yeah, they took over
Prime has
Monday
got
Night
hockey and MMA and all kinds of things and all of that. But you also got to remember where organized sports came from and were derived from, right? And how they came and what the Olympics are, right? All it was political unrest. They had to come up with something to basically take people's minds off of how bad life was.
It is the same reason that cartoons, the Warner Brother cartoons back in the day, the Looney Tunes, Fred Flintstones, the Jetsons. One of the things that they developed very, very quickly when those became popular was the colors kept the kids interested, and the scripts kept the adults interested. Right?
It's called programming.
For family interest, right?
It's called programming.
We used to sit around the TV and wait for it. Every day at noon, I'd come home for lunch, Flintstones,
Right. It's called programming.
Yes.
Right? So they program and condition you so that they can
back then
distract
they
you
were
while
doing
they do.
subliminal shit, right?
Oh, fuck. That started back in like the 30s and 40s.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. Well, and now we call it ad placement. Right?
Yeah, but what was happening, I think it was in the 60s and 70s they got caught. What they would do is they would put trailers on in the beginning of the movie and things like that. And humans see at a rate of about 30 frames per second. Okay? So if you're looking at a movie, then what would that match up with your natural eyesight would be about 30 frames per second. Well, about every 25 frames, they would throw in a frame of popcorn, just an image of popcorn.
That started big, not so much on TV, but in the drive-ins, right?
Drive-ins, movie theaters, that type of thing. Because this is how they always made their money, was on popcorn.
Let's go to the lobby.
Yeah. So they would throw a frame in about every 25 seconds, or no, 25 frames, you'd have a frame of popcorn, and you don't see it and you don't register it consciously, but subconsciously, your brain says, we should get some popcorn.
They did it at the most well-known placement during a movie would probably be the Dirk Diggler thing, right, where they flashed a man's penis.
Yep.
I believe it was at the end of the movie.
Yep.
Right. And it wasn't. It just, they just did it, and some people saw it and some people didn't. Right.
Yep. It just depends on what your eyes are registering at that time in that motion of the frames going by.
Well, you know, you look at the picture of, it looks like Christ standing there when you squint your eyes, but it's two women standing there at a fruit stand or something like that. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's all kinds of those things.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
That's I forget the name of it. There's a name for it, where humans basically recognize facial features in other objects.
There was a video I saw the other day where a buddy's standing down the end of his hall and he's going, "What the fuck? Somebody let a cat in. I don't have a cat. There's a cat." And he walks closer and closer, and it's his shoes.
Yeah, and it's a boot. Yeah,
I saw a cat.
Yeah. So because that's
I should
what
pull up that video, but
right. But when you first see that, all right, so you first look at it and you glance, the first thing that registers in your mind is it's a cat. And then when you look, that's all you see is a cat.
Yeah, correct.
Until you get closer and realize it's not a cat.
Yes.
Right? And then your brain kind of does this little flip-flop thing, like, okay, that was fucked up. But because you could swear that you originally saw a cat. It's kind of similar to the whole Mandela effect that's been going on. Right? Where things aren't the same now as they used to be.
No, not in any way. We have 8 minutes to go. Is there anything that anybody wants to say?
I was going to talk about a weird subject. Well, it's not a weird subject. It's a cannabis-related subject, but I have problems with their testing. So that's why I didn't really want to get into it too much.
Well, maybe next week.
Yeah. If they're talking about genetic changes in people that use cannabis. All right. Where
was what?
Well, what the study shows is they looked at people over a 20-year period, and they took blood samples and compared the genome on the blood samples to see if there was any actual markers that have changed. And they've noticed a high
I saw something about that.
Yeah, a high change in heavier cannabis use.
Didn't I just post something like that today? There was something.
You might have. I don't know if you posted or not. But my question is when they did this study, and did they take into the genetic alterations that were made by the vaccine? And could that be giving them their data with such inconsistencies?
I'm trying to find it real quick. If I can't, I apologize. Why am I apologizing? I don't know. Oh God, I'm looking at these recipes. I'm going back now.
Buddy wants to know if it was AI, but it wasn't the cat turning into shoes. It was just the lighting and the shoe itself.
Yeah.
It wasn't AI, and I know what you mean, because there's a lot of them.
It's the composition. It's one of the first things that we had to learn when I was studying commercial photography was composition, and that's that whole thing, building your shot within the frame, and then so you don't have to crop it after. right? You want to crop it during the whole thing, right? Where'd you guys go?
I'm just doing a quick look, see if I can find that video.
Well, you could, if you find it, save it for next week, because it's almost time to go. If anybody wants to see the body count comfortably numb, I'm posting it again on my wall.
Yes, please.
On my my personal page.
And else personal.
Must be 9 o'clock. The cat's howling.
9 o'clock. Howling.
I just heard him. Meow.
That's him saying, "Get the fuck down here. I want you."
Feed me, Seymour.
Feed
I'm gonna have to get a new chair. I think my chair keeps dropping on me.
I don't have any up or down in my chair. Anyways, let's wrap it up and say goodnight so I can feed my cat.
Wrap it up. Jesus, don't do that, Al.
And you're supposed to wrap it up, buddy. If you don't wrap it up, you're going to get somebody's pregnant.
Well, without the world population, who else would they have to fucking fuck this planet even more?
Shop local. Say goodnight, guys.
Night.
Have a good one. You people are strange.
Stay tuned. We'll be back after this toke.
Hey, come on.